Let's go. Today is day 3 of the Reputation Agency course where I show you exactly how I scaled my business Review Harvest to over $26,000 a month in recurring revenue, just helping local business owners get Google reviews, white labeling HighLevel. And in day 3, I'm going to show you how you can white label HighLevel to add your own brand, your own branding, so it looks like you have your own custom software. We'll go over creating pricing plans, integrating your Stripe account, and creating your first test sub account with the snapshot that I give you to help your clients get more reviews. As always, if you actually want access to the snapshots, the website templates, the 3 weekly coaching calls with me where I can meet you exactly where you are and help you overcome any hurdles you're facing, and access to almost 700 people in the community doing the same exact thing with everyone learning from one another and helping each other out, feel free to sign up to HighLevel down below with my link in the description. You'll get an extended 30-day trial instead of the normal 14-day free trial. And if you're already a HighLevel user, you can just upgrade to the next plan with my link down below and you'll get access to all of this stuff for free. Like I've said before, I post these videos totally for free so you know what I'm talking about and you can execute and deploy this stuff on your own if you like. But if you really want to fast track it and get all the templates, the website templates, the snapshots, everything that I've built and just kind of deploy it into your business in a couple days, all of those resources are housed in the community for anybody that signs up with my link. Well, I'll cut the chit chat and let's dive into day 3.
All right. So now we're going to set up your white label settings to make your HighLevel account look like your own. And so you can see here, here's an example of where you go. So you go to your agency view. So make sure you go here, you click on switch to agency view if it's there. Then you want to go to settings down at the bottom. So I'll show you this real quick. So you're in your agency view, moving this camera out of the way. You're in your agency view, you click on settings, click on company, and you click on white label. And from there, you can see you're here. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and add your logo. So this is going to be your logo that's up here at the top corner. You want to make sure it's 350 by 180 and it has a transparent background to make it look good. So if you don't know how to do that, once again, just get a Canva account. I think you can even do this with a free account. Come to your design here. Come to your design. You want to resize it. So click on resize, custom size, and you want to do the 350 by 180 or whatever it is. So 350. Let's make sure 350 by 180. Yep, by 180. There you go. And you're gonna click on copy and resize. So it's going to create another. It's going to create another design for you. You can open it up, and now you have the right logo. You can just edit it to make it bigger, so it takes up the whole thing, so it looks good when you add it. Perfect. And yep. So then you can just download that and you can upload it here. Privacy policy URL and terms and conditions. We went over this in the updating your website video. So creating your privacy policy and your terms and conditions. You want to make sure you add these there. The reason being is because when somebody goes to yourwhitelabeldomain.com, when they log in, excuse me. When they log in, they're agreeing to your terms and conditions. They can click here and it's linked to the terms and conditions on your website. So there's that. Also, if you want to customize this login page, normally your login page is going to look like this. App.GoHighLevel.com. Normally your login page is going to look something like this. But if you use HL Pro Tools, you can customize your whole login page, make it look totally unique. You can also customize the page once you log in. So if you see, for example, here, when I log in here, send the code real quick. But you can see that my HighLevel looks totally unique. So you can see I have this, my logo up here up top, and it's bigger than it normally looks compared to over here. I have some colors here, and this is just a theme that HL Pro Tools gives you. So if you go here and you go to Theme Builder, they give you a whole bunch of different options. So you can see they've got like Techno Blue, which is just clean white or whatever. And then they give you the CSS to do that. You can edit the login page. That's what I showed y'all before. And then also, if you go back to the agency view, and then you go to, oh shoot, what just happened there? You go to, oh yeah, control panel. This is added from HL Pro Tools. you can basically turn stuff on and off from the control panel really easily, but they also allow you to customize this launch pad. So this is why mine, it just has the Google Business Profile thing, because I turned all the other ones off. So they add some, I wish I could just give you all this code and then it would just work for you, but it doesn't. That's not how, we've already tested it out. So you have to be an active member of HL Pro Tools or whatever, and it's not too bad. I think their lowest plan is like $97 per month, and you get access to all this stuff. You have to scroll through and go through their funnel to actually get to their pricing and stuff, but it's $97 per month for the theme builder, to customize the launch pad, to customize everything like that, and then also that control panel, and then also you get the Zapier action. They have an HL Pro Tools Zap, which allows you to do some really cool stuff, kind of at the agency level that you can't automate within sub accounts. And then lastly, this CSS you can take. You can see if we go down here, custom JavaScript or whatever. I don't really think there's anything to play around with there. That's just codes and stuff to make sure I think my HL Pro Tools works. And you can see here, see how it's not custom on here? Because this is the app.gohighlevel.com one, right? But on this one, app.reviewers.com, it is custom and it looks like my branding and stuff like that. And so that's another benefit of the white label domain. But you can see custom CSS here. I just have some stuff that won't work if I share it with y'all because you don't have HL Pro Tools. But SB reporting, this hides the reporting bar on the side panel. And so let me pull up another sub account here to show you kind of where this would be if it was showing up. So normally there's like an advanced reporting feature side menu down here, but we don't want any of our clients, none of our clients see that or need that or use that, so we just hide that there. And let's go here. So reputation requests, this is like actually within the reputation tab. There's a requests portion. So we don't really use the native feature of like sending out review invites and stuff like that. And so the requests would normally show up as like failed. Even if we had like a dud in the workflow, the request would show up as failed. And so if you were using the native SMS and email review requests in here, then the invites would look right because you're sending out review requests this way. But this lacks just a lot of functionality and flexibility that we need. And so I hid the requests portion up here so it doesn't look like all the invites have failed because we don't have that turned on. I hope that makes sense. Quiz builder, that's just to build quizzes. None of our clients use that. Online listings, that's like the Yext stuff. We just hid that because none of our clients, we don't upsell Yext. Memberships, that's like the memberships side panel that's on here. We just hid that because it's hard to get it removed with just permissions. App marketplace, hid that because none of our clients download any third-party apps. Yext overview card. This is actually on the reputation management dashboard. Normally right here, there is like a Yext pop-up and we just hit that because none of our clients use Yext. SB objects, this is like an advanced feature that is down under the settings of a sub account. So down in the settings of a sub account, you'll see like objects or something right here sometimes. And so we just hid that. Agency dashboard, that's just, I hide that most of the time because it's just totally inaccurate. It's actually stupid how inaccurate it is because it doesn't take into account certain things. So I just don't want to see it because it just makes me frustrated. And I always feel like, oh, I need to fix this or something. SB WhatsApp, none of our clients use WhatsApp. So we just hide that in the settings of the sub account. There's no like a WhatsApp panel here. AI agent, that's also in the settings here. We hide that. Opportunities pipeline, that is like the pipelines at the setting level of a sub account. Once again, there's like a pipeline in here, a pipeline menu. We don't want them to see that because they just ask questions. It just produces like support requests. Oh, I see I've got AI agent in here. What does that mean? I want to make sure I'm taking advantage of review harvest. Like, well, we just do reviews. I'm trying to hide all the other stuff from you. Undefined, I forget what it was, but something on their selector, like, because how you do this to hide this stuff is you click on inspect and then you go, let's make it look responsive. And then you go and you like hover over something and you find it over here. Let me make this bigger. So you find like where it is over here and you left click on it and you click on copy and copy selector. And then what that does is it gives you the code that you need to do display as none. So you can see conversation AI settings SB2. That's what we would need to display as none. So you just put that and then display none, that code there, and their little selector thing was undefined. So I forget what it was, but it obviously wasn't important. Conversation providers, that's just additional providers. I forget what that was. Brand boards, none of our clients use that. This is supposed to be manual actions, but actually in the CSS selector, it's manual actions. So yeah, this is a Yext pop-up when people log in. This is also a Yext pop-up when people log in. This is just the business settings at the sub account level. None of our clients really use that or whatever. It's just another like settings bar down here. So we remove that. And labs is like new features. We remove that. URL redirects. None of our clients add URLs or websites or stuff in there. Manage scoring. This is lead scoring. So we turn that off. And then reputation management. This is another reputation management at the settings level that we just don't want them to see. All right, so let's go over how to set up your white label login and your API domain. So what is your white label login domain? This is where you and your clients can go to log in from this domain instead of app.gohighlevel.com. So this is what's really making your solution white labeled. You can see mine is app.reviewharvest.com. And when you go there, it takes me to a login page to log into Review Harvest. Since I'm already signed in, it might just log me in. Yeah, it just logged me in. But that takes me to log in there. What is your API domain? So your API domain is when you send trigger links and you send survey links or calendar links or form links, you just send that default link, they give it to you. This is the domain that's going to be included there. So normally it's going to be like, it's going to be your domain with a string of random characters and stuff like that afterwards. So you can see like this is a form that we fill out all the time. You can see it's go.reviewers.com, etc. And so when it comes to your API domain, this is something that's also going to be in those trigger links for the text. So when you use trigger links, it's going to use your API domain to add a unique string and track that. And so you want to make sure that this is something that's very short. You don't want to add something super long because then those trigger links could get lengthy. So I do go.reviewers.com. That's my API domain. So now that you know kind of what both of these are, where do we go to change them? So if you go to your agency view, go to settings, and you go to company, and you go to white label, you can see here so if you go to your agency view, you click on company, and then you click on white label, you can see here we'll go over setting up your logo and stuff like that next. But for now, you can see you have your white label domain and your API domain. So if you purchase this domain on Cloudflare or GoDaddy or something that HighLevel integrates with seamlessly, it's really simple. All you do is you just click on edit here. You type in your domain, whatever you want it to be. So go.reviewharvest.com. And from there, you click on continue, and it's going to give you the records. And so we can walk through what this looks like here under the white label domain. So you add it there, click on add domain, and from there, I'll show you the more in-depth training. I don't want to change this because I'm scared it's going to have some downtime, but it's going to give you these DNS records. So if you use GoDaddy or you use Namecheap or you use Cloudflare, it's going to automatically add this. But basically all we're doing is we're adding a CNAME, and then the host here is whatever you're putting before your domain. So if you're putting go.reviewers.com or whatever, it's going to be that here. So the host, and then it points to this white label ludicrous.cloud for their servers. TTL can just probably be whatever. And then you just save that and let it update. And eventually you'll be able to go to that white label domain, and you'll be able to log in to HighLevel through that, just like you normally would on app.gohighlevel.com. And then it's actually the same exact process for setting up your API domain. And so same thing you see right here. You're just going to type in what you want, and then you'll click on next, and it's going to prompt you to add those records to your DNS. If you don't know how to add DNS records, watch the email setup video. Watch the setup email sending domains. It's literally the same process. You're just adding different records. So hopefully that helps get both of those things set up. Now we're getting close to white labeling our HighLevel account. And all right, so now we're going to cover creating a Stripe account and then integrating that Stripe account with HighLevel. And so I already have multiple Stripe accounts under my LLC, and I don't want to throw any mysterious at Stripe. So I just linked to a very simple video, updated, what says updated 2025, but it's the same process. I just went through it recently. Going over exactly how to set up a Stripe account. It's pretty simple. You're just going to ask for your business info and stuff like that, and you can get a Stripe account set up. And then once you have it set up, what you do is you just go to your agency view. So if we go back to agency view here, and then so you're in your agency view. If you're not seeing this, just if you're in a sub account, you should just have a button here that says switch to agency view, and then click on settings, and then go to Stripe, and then you can see here I can't disconnect my Stripe account because I have SaaS clients and SaaS plans set up and stuff like that. So that would just mess everything up. But there's literally going to be a button here that says, hey, just connect your Stripe account. It might even be on your dashboard. And so I linked to another video that was posted recently showing you how to connect that. It was only posted 13 days ago. So hopefully it's up to date. But yeah, so just walks you through exactly setting up, just getting verified. It's going to walk you through putting your email address in, verifying the connection, and then you should be connected there. Everything should be good. So I hope this is helpful. Once again, I just can't undo this and redo this in my own account. It would just mess a bunch of stuff up. So hopefully those trainings are helpful. We're going to cover the value equation by Alex Hormozi. This is from his book, $100 Million Offers. We're going to go over why value doesn't equal price, and you might not want to charge what you're worth in the beginning. And then we're going to cover some of the 4 biggest players in the space and their lowest monthly options and break down why they're priced the way they are. Stay to the end and I'll show you my pricing and hopefully help you decide and calculate yours. So if we break down the value equation here, why will people happily fork up over $10,000 for liposuction to get skinnier, whereas you might have to arm wrestle somebody to give you $50 a month for a gym membership, right? And so the goal for this equation is we want the top side to be large and we want the bottom side to be as small as possible. The reason being is because this is a division equation, right? Anything over 0 is technically undefined, which would be infinitely valuable. If you can get somebody a 6-pack instantly without having to do anything, you would be able to charge a lot of money for that, right? And so let's break down liposuction. The dream outcome of liposuction is to lose weight, right? Just to get skinnier. And so the perceived likelihood of achievement, meaning how likely do they feel like they're going to hit this goal, this dream outcome, it's like a doctor. This is all they do. And so it's pretty much guaranteed. In terms of time delay, you're going to go under for the surgery and you're going to wake up skinny within hours. And so it's nearly instant. And the effort and sacrifice, effort is things that you have to start doing that you don't want to do, and sacrifice is things that you have to give up doing that you already are doing. And so the only effort and sacrifice you have here for liposuction is you might be sore for a week, might have to miss work. It's super easy. It's a no-brainer. So now if we go to the gym membership down here and people have to arm wrestle people just to get them to sign up for the gym, the dream outcome's the same. These people want to lose weight. But the perceived likelihood of achievement is so much lower here. And the reason being is because these people have probably tried diets and workout programs and running and walking before, and they have never been able to hit their goal of losing weight, right? So they're like, what's going to make it different this time? And so when you're selling a gym membership, you have to make sure they know that you're going to be responsible for them hitting their goals, and you're going to help them. And you have to increase that perceived likelihood of achievement by showing other case studies, other testimonials, other people that were just like them that have now lost the weight. And so time delay for gym membership, if they're really busting their rump, it's still probably going to be over 6 months before they see any great progress. And so you can see why this is so much less valuable, because 6 months is a long time for these people that want something instantly. And then effort and sacrifice. Once again, effort is stuff they have to start doing. They got to go to the gym. They got to wake up early. They got to start cooking healthy food. Sacrifice, they got to get rid of the candy. They got to get rid of the donuts. They got to get rid of sleeping in. And so when you explain it this way with something super easy to understand like weight loss, you can see why the value of liposuction is so much higher and people are willing to pay so much more, because it's so much easier. Because they're selling the same exact thing, losing weight. It's just the fact that it's basically guaranteed and they don't have to do anything. Whereas the gym membership, selling the same thing, they don't know whether they're going to be able to do it or not, and they have to give up and do a lot of work and be very patient to actually get the same result.
So now when we're breaking down some of these big review players in the space, these are all their lowest monthly options here. We're gonna go over who they're selling to, how much social proof they have, what's their goal, are they just looking for as many users or profit, and also where are they getting their customers. This is gonna help you figure out what that price is, because if somebody already knows, likes, and trusts you, and they're pretty warmed up to your brand and your business, you can probably charge more than if they're just cold traffic. So let's break down BirdEye. So BirdEye is an massive company, over $100 million in ARR, and their lowest monthly option is $389. And pretty much all they're doing is helping people get reviews and texting customers with a chat widget on their site, and they have listings so you can do like directories and stuff for SEO. And so for their dream outcome, it's very similar to everyone else's. We're like, we're going to get you reviews, we're going to help you rank higher on Google, we're going to do all those things. Now, in terms of perceived likelihood of achievement, this is where the fact that BirdEye is a massive brand that's worked with hundreds of thousands of businesses comes into play, right? If I'm just your average Joe Schmo business and I go look on BirdEye's website and I see they've worked with 100,000 businesses and they have thousands of reviews, what are the thoughts that if I work with them, I'll get results? They're pretty high. You probably agree that, okay, well, I guess if I work with these people, they're going to get me results because they've worked with so many people and they've done it so many times before. So in terms of time delay for BirdEye, it's a software, right? So you can probably get it set up in a day and start getting reviews. I think they do offer an onboarding call, which some people might just wait for. And so they might not get results in the first day or 2 days or 3 days because they're waiting for that onboarding call. And also I think that BirdEye has added all these additional services on top that probably get people confused from the main goal of just getting Google reviews, if that's the goal. And it probably makes it a little bit harder for them just to go straight through and get Google reviews instantly. And we'll talk about a software that does a really good job of doing that here in a second. In terms of effort and sacrifice, it sounds like you're probably going to get on an onboarding call. You might have to sacrifice what you already know, right? You're going to have the cost of change. You're going to have to change your operations. Since BirdEye offers a whole bunch of messaging features, you might have to learn how to use an app or train your employees on how to use an app. So you're going to have that cost of change when it comes to effort and sacrifice. But at the end of the day, where BirdEye really excels, in my opinion, is this perceived likelihood of achievement. They've got loads of social proof. They're a big dog in the space. And so they're able to charge $389 a month as their lowest monthly price and get that. Who is BirdEye selling to? BirdEye is really focused on dentists, they're focused on dealerships, they're focused on lawyers. You can see down here, automotive, dental, financial services, healthcare, home services, legal, property management. And they're all over the place, but I know that they do have a lot of automotive, a lot of dental, a lot of financial services, like 6,000 of them. And one thing that comes down to is the dream outcome for a financial services company or for a dealership versus the dream outcome for a local window cleaner is going to be very different, right? If you help a lawyer get 200 more reviews, that might help them make an additional $3 million this year, right? But if you help a window wash cleaner get another 200 reviews, that might make them an extra $200,000 this year, right? And who's willing to pay more for your service? Probably the business that's going to make an additional $3 million because of what you did. You did the same work, you just sold to somebody different, and so they're willing to pay you a lot more. And so that's why who you're selling to is so important, because if you're selling to lawyers and dentists and financial services and dealerships, these big companies that make a lot of money, if you get them 500 reviews, those 500 reviews are going to be a lot more valuable than the 500 reviews for a restaurant or for an ice cream shop, right? And so who you're selling to is going to determine what you can price and what you can charge. If you get a lawyer 500 more reviews and they get one new client, that might be worth getting the local window washer 100 new clients, right? And so you did the same work, they only had to get one client and they made more money than the window washer. So we've already covered how BirdEye has loads of social proof. They've worked with hundreds of thousands of businesses. And in terms of what their goal is, it's safe to say that now that BirdEye has over 1,000 employees, they are probably trying to make money and they've been funded. And so I think they did go through this hyper growth stage of get as many users on as possible, but they are probably in the stage of, hey, we're ready to make money. And so since they're in the stage where they're ready to make money, their price to value discrepancy probably is not as big as it used to be, right? They're still providing more value than they're charging, obviously, or people wouldn't sign up, but it's not like they're priced like this and their value is like this to create this massive discrepancy that creates this virality of the product where people are sharing it with all their friends because of how massive the discrepancy is, right? So they probably found the sweet spot in terms of a price where people will pay and pay for a while and also still share with people and they can make a bunch of money. In terms of where BirdEye is getting their customers, I'm not 100% certain on this because I think they actually took their Google Business Profile page down, but I remember reading BirdEye's Google reviews a while ago when they had a Google business profile, and a lot of their reviews, hundreds and hundreds of their 1-star reviews, were just from cold calling and people being annoyed about cold calling. So I'd imagine if you have 300 1-star reviews from people because you're cold calling them, you're probably doing a lot of cold calling. So I know they did pretty hard on cold outreach, and now they're also integrated with so many other platforms where they just have all these CRMs sending business their way because they're a seamless integration to help companies using that CRM get reviews. So let's break down Podium. So Podium is very similar to BirdEye in the sense that they've got hundreds of thousands of people they've worked with, and they're also branched out, and now they're doing a lot more than just reviews, right? Podium's really focused on like reviews, AI employee, which is like basically they say your AI employee that's gonna help you book calls and follow up with people, all that stuff. And so the dream outcome for Podium is probably a little bit larger than these other softwares just review focused, because they're gonna take over some more aspects of the business to help them make more money, like following up with leads and other stuff in the marketing funnel. But at the same time, that's gonna increase a little bit more effort. It's gonna make the effort higher because now you're gonna have to train your employees on how to do this. You're gonna get integrated in every aspect of the system. And I'm sure they figured out a way to make that pretty easy, but you're going to make them change something about their operations of their business. And so that's going to come with a little bit of effort or sacrificing the way they do it right now. Time delay, once again, it's a software. You can get set up pretty quickly. I'm sure Podium offers an onboarding call. But in terms of the value, they have a lot higher dream outcome than a lot of these others just simple review services. And so who they're selling to, Podium's done a good job of, once again, selling to people that have money. So they're selling to rich people. They're selling to lawyers. They're selling to dealerships. They're selling to dentists. They're selling to big HVAC companies or big plumbing companies. They're selling to people who make gobs and gobs of money so that they can charge more money, right? Once again, if we're helping a business that charge a lot higher prices and one client means a lot more to them than just say the restaurant down the road, you can charge a lot more than $99 per month to help them get more reviews because those reviews are so much more valuable to them. Podium has gobs of social proof. They've got 100,000 plus users, so I think they're fine there. Their goal, I would say their goal is very similar to BirdEye's right now in the sense that they are probably trying to figure out the right price to value discrepancy where their product still grows and people still share it, but they're also trying to make profit and not trying to just grow out the wazoo and just get as many users on as possible. And where they're getting their customers, once again, I think they went pretty heavy on cold calling. But Podium does a whole bunch of marketing now, and so does BirdEye. They're on all channels. They're running ads. They're running everything, and they have integrations into all these other CRMs where they get some exposure that way as well. So they're omnipresent. In both Podium and BirdEye spend a decent amount of money on Google ads. So you type in reputation management, Google review software, stuff like that. You're probably going to get a Podium or BirdEye Google ad. So they're spending a lot of money that way as well. So now let's talk about NiceJob. NiceJob is a great example of how important it is of who you are selling to, right? So NiceJob mainly focuses on home service businesses. So I think the vast majority, they do offer services to other industries and stuff, but for the most part, if you talk to a home service business that uses a review software, they're probably using NiceJob. And so the dream outcome is very simple here. The dream outcome for NiceJob is to help people get more reviews, respond to those reviews, referrals, rebooking, stuff like that. Just very basic SMS and email function features and campaigns on the back half of the customer journey. So very similar to everybody else. Perceived likelihood of treatment is pretty good. They've worked with 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 plus businesses. They've got a decent amount of reviews. And I think that a lot of NiceJob's clients come from word of mouth because in the home service space, this is probably the most popular platform. And so if you're recommended by a friend, then you're going to have a lot higher perceived likelihood of treatment because you said if it works for your friend, I trust my friend, he said I should use it, then it's going to work for me too. Time delay, NiceJob does an awesome job of making the onboarding process very simple where you can get set up yourself and start getting reviews within hours. And so their process is very clean cut, very simple. They take you either one step at a time and they're just focused on getting Google reviews. And they're not like Podium or BirdEye right now where they're selling you a million different things. They're getting that way. They're offering sites and a bunch of other stuff, but they're not selling you a million different things and they keep it very focused so you can shrink that time delay and you can start getting reviews very quickly. Effort and sacrifice, they do a good job of just integrating with your system in the background so you don't have to learn a new service. You don't have to train your employees on a new service. You don't have to give up anything. This will just work in the background. And so their price to value discrepancy, there's probably a little bit bigger of a gap than Podium or BirdEye because they're still pretty young and they're probably trying to get as many people on board as possible and see their price is very affordable compared to Podium and BirdEye. And so I'd imagine they're still trying to grow a lot, but they were just acquired by Paystone in the last couple of years. And so they're probably going to start raising this price as they grow just to maximize profit and stuff like that. And where they get a lot of their customers, once again, they've got integrations with other CRMs that just send business their way. They do a good job with partnerships in like kind of the home service space and the influencers. They do a good job there. And they also get a lot of business from word of mouth. And so NiceJob does run Facebook ads, but they get a lot of business from word of mouth. If you go in any Facebook group about home services and people ask about reviews, they're going to talk about NiceJob. And so they've done a great job there and built a really cool business that way. So now let's talk about GatherUp. GatherUp's another popular one, a wild card. It seems like they're selling to a lot of agencies or larger businesses instead of just the direct to the small business owner. But at the end of the day, they're doing pretty much the same thing, helping people get reviews, manage reviews, respond to reviews, stuff like that. They have a decent amount of social proof. I don't think they do a great job of displaying this across the site. And I think they could do a better job of increasing their perceived likelihood of achievement to let people know that they're doing a great job, but they're going to help you get more reviews. Time delay, it's a software. You just get set up. Takes a couple hours. I don't know if they offer an onboarding call, but I think you can do it pretty quickly. And then effort and sacrifice, once again, this is more similar to NiceJob in the sense that it's not really going to change your day-to-day operations. You're not going to be booking clients through this or following up with leads or sending your Facebook leads into the system. And you're not going to have to like train your team or train your operations on this. And it's pretty low on effort and sacrifice. Just get set up and it works in the background. They haven't really focused on a niche, but it does look like if you go read through their site, they're selling more to agencies and large franchises and stuff like that than, say, NiceJob or these other companies. And so since they're selling to agencies or franchises, those people are going to bring them 10, 15, 20, 100 customers at once. And so pricing wise, they want to make it make sense to the middleman. So they're basically adding a middleman to every single one of their transactions, which is going to make them have to charge a little bit less, but also they can get 100 or 200 customers at once. And in terms of where they're getting their customers, they definitely run Google ads. So if you look up reputation management, stuff like that, you will see ads from GatherUp. So now what you've been waiting for, my pricing with Review Harvest. So if you can see here, my lowest plan starts at $99 per month. My highest plan is $279 per month. And I'd probably say I've got about 45% of people on this plan, 35% of people on the largest plan, and about 20% of people on the middle plan. So I need to take off this most popular here. But it's broken down based off how many new review requests we're sending out per month. Let me just throw this caveat out here. I don't feel like my pricing is perfect at all. I feel like it'd be a lot better, a lot simpler, a lot easier to understand. But I think right now, since I sell mostly via sales calls, I have the opportunity to explain how the pricing works. And with these 3 tiers, I'm able to give options to the smaller businesses who might think $279 a month for reviews is crazy. And then also for the massive companies who aren't even going to blink at $279 per month, I can charge them and capture that amount of revenue from them as well. And so in terms of my dream outcome from Review Harvest is very simple. We're going to help you get more reviews. We're going to manage those reviews, respond to them, and we're going to post them on your social media accounts, right? So we're going to help request, respond, and repurpose your reviews. And our goal is to make sure that you never have to worry about Google reviews again and everything just works in the background. In terms of perceived likelihood of achievement, we could probably do a better job of showing all the businesses we worked with on our website, but lots of times I'm once again selling on sales calls right now still. And so perceived likelihood of achievement, I can just pull up my spreadsheet of all the clients' results and I can just show them, hey, here's our average, here's whatever. And so that definitely can increase the perceived likelihood of achievement because I can just go through and say, hey, these aren't even just the people we've gotten reviews from, these are just the average. And so that can help increase the perceived likelihood of achievement and increase the top side of this equation. Time delay. This is one thing where we're working on. It's hard when you're white labeling GoHighLevel to get that time delay shrink down very low because there's some things that you can't do. For example, like an integration. If they use Jobber, they can't just automatically get integrated with Jobber. We can pull all their customers, all their previous customers, start sending in their reviews and start sending reviews to their new customers as well, right? Right now, all the clients we work with requires an onboarding call, right? So if they book an onboarding call in 2 or 3 days, we can start getting them reviews by the end of the day after that onboarding call, right? But it requires an onboarding call. So we need to do a lot better here on the time delay of getting people results quicker. Effort and sacrifice. This is where I think we really excel. They don't have to learn how to use a platform. They can just email us. We'll do it for them. They don't have to give up anything or change any of their daily operations. We integrate into their system exactly how it's working. So nobody even has to know what Review Harvest is in terms of they don't have to train their employees on sending review requests or anything like that. They just hop on a call with us, we set it up for them, and they start getting reviews. So that's one area I think we really excel, where it's really easy to work with us. We do a lot of stuff for you, and it's not even like a software, it's more like a service. So we emphasize the service and don't emphasize the fact that it's a software, right? So who are we selling to? We sell a lot to home service business owners right now. And if we were to go say target lawyers, we could probably charge a lot more money. Or if we were to go target dentists, we could probably charge a lot more money. But with any of those things come trade-off. If you're going to target lawyers, they're probably a little bit harder to get in touch with. Might not be, it's probably worth extra money. But when it comes to dentists, you have to worry about HIPAA stuff because of medical, like chiropractors and stuff like that. You have to worry about HIPAA compliance, and that's something we really have tried to stay away from. What is our goal? So the reason why I think we are priced this way right now, I think that we could be priced a lot higher. I think we could start at $197, and since it's a service and we do everything for them, we could start at $197, go up to $397. But our goal right now is not profit. My goal is not to just make as much money as possible with Review Harvest. I want users. I want people to use the software. I want people to get results. I want them to tell their friends about it. I want us to grow. And so in terms of that price to value discrepancy, I want to charge a price where I can still keep the lights on and grow and make money and stuff. But I want this discrepancy, this gap to be so big that people feel like they have to tell their friends about it because we're doing all this stuff for them for just this small price, right? And so just trying to focus on growth right now. I'm not trying to get as much money out of everybody as possible. Also, a frame when it comes to monthly recurring services, one frame to think of is that would you rather somebody pay you for 6 months, $300, or would you rather them pay you $97 for 4 years, right? And so there is some pricing, and I think NiceJob's really locked into this because I talk to people all the time that use NiceJob and have been using it for years, and they basically just forgot that they're using it. And then I tell them like, hey, you haven't gotten reviews in 4 months. What's going on? Like, oh, I use NiceJob. So you've been paying for NiceJob for the last, you've gotten 7 reviews in the last year and a half. What's going on there? There is a kind of a point where you're priced low enough where every month you're not under the top of their expenses and thinking like, oh my gosh, I need to cancel this. So figuring out where that balance is of how long they're going to stick based off your monthly price. One thing to make your clients stick a lot more is to charge a setup fee. When you charge $500, $1,000, or whatever up front, it makes it a lot harder to sell people, right? It's a lot more friction there. But they feel invested into your service, right? They feel like they're bought in. They have a little bit of sunken cost fallacy to where they bought into what you're doing, and now they're more likely to stay longer because they have more skin in the game. And where are we getting our customers right now? Mainly from ads and word of mouth. Let's say you only got customers from referrals. You could probably charge a lot more money because these leads are going to be a lot warmer, right? But if you're going to a cold audience on ads, it's going to be a lot harder to sell those people at the price of referrals. And so obviously you can't change your price for every single person. I guess you could. It's just not very ethical. But you can't like change your price for every person. So that's why we're priced the way we are right now, to serve ads and referrals. And one thing to, I think, help you understand how you could price, if let's say you are an agency right now and you have 20 clients or whatever, if these people already know and trust you and you say, hey, we're going to get you reviews, you could probably charge $300 a month to help them get more Google reviews because they already know and trust you. And so their perceived likelihood of achievement is a lot higher. You've already done what they said they're going to do, and the dream outcome is to help them get more business or whatever. And so they want it, right? And if you already have access to all their stuff, the time, delay, effort, and sacrifice, all that stuff can be very low. And so you could definitely charge a pretty penny to help them get more reviews. All right, so I want to quickly walk you through the snapshot. So one key thing about snapshots is that they save you a bunch of time from having to do everything on your own, but they're very hard to use if you don't actually understand what's going on in the snapshot, right? Because then when you want to make one little change, you don't know whether that's going to mess up the whole entire system and everything else. And so this video covers the ins and outs of the snapshot and how everything is connected. And if you watch this video through several times, you'll have a good idea of how this works. So you'll be able to confidently make edits or customizations per client if that's what they're asking for. So what I want to talk about briefly is what's not included in the snapshot. And the reason these things aren't included in the snapshot is because you can't set them on a snapshot level. So what I mean by that is like automated review responses. If you go to reputation, you go to settings, and then you see your reviews AI here, you can see that its auto responses are turned on here, but you have to connect it. So it's not like I can just automatically have all your reviews being responded to just by setting up the snapshot. You have to come in here, connect to Google Business Profile account, and then you have to make sure auto response is on, and you can say respond to however many reviews you want to or whatever. You can include a footer at the bottom of every review response if you'd like, and you can do like 9 minutes. And then you have to actually save this for review responses to be on. And so same thing with if you go to marketing and we go to social planner for social media posts, same situation. I can't just turn on automated social media posting through a snapshot. It has to be connected to, you have to get this sub account connected to social media accounts. And then from there, you can turn it on. It doesn't just come over with the snapshot, right? What's coming over with the snapshots is the workflows, the email templates, trigger links, email, text templates, all that stuff's coming through, not specifically just these features that we just have to come in here and turn on. right? So if we go back up to the top, the first thing you'll see here is the dashboard. And so this dashboard is only going to be, this default Review Harvest dashboard is only going to be available to people that have the $497 plan. The reason being is because when you download the snapshot into your account and you try to use it, it comes with the default snapshot. But if you're not on the $497 plan, then you don't have what they call multiple custom snapshots, right? So if you're on the $297 plan or the $97 plan, every dashboard that you create has to be made from scratch. So you can't basically bring over multiple dashboards from a snapshot. And so you're only going to be able to see this if you have the $497 plan. But if you quickly want to see how to create this, all you do is you add a widget. You're going to add a number widget because you want to do that. And then we do this based off opportunities. And so review requests sent is the number of total opportunities. So this is the opportunity count widget right here. Pending reviewers is the number of open opportunities. So that's pending reviewers here. Review link clicks is the number of won opportunities, and non-reviewers is the number of lost opportunities. So you can see here, if I click on this and like edit, you can see count of opportunity, advanced settings. This is just doing the date range order, but if you go to conditions, you can see status is lost. And if you, for some reason, you have multiple pipelines in here, you could add a condition for pipeline is, and make sure it's selected as the review pipeline if you have multiple pipelines, because that's going to mess it up because we have one pipeline by default in here, and we don't use any other pipelines, which is just for reviews. So same thing with review link clicks. You can see its status is 1. So this is all automatically built in on the back end on the automations. So this is just counting it on the front end. And then you see pending reviewers is edit. We can see conditions, status is open. So this is about how many people are currently in the workflow to request a review and haven't left a review yet. And then here, review requests sent. This is just the total. This is just the total opportunity. So status is nothing here. You don't have to have any status at all because this is just counting the total amount of opportunities. And so once again, if you want to like just build this custom, you just need to click on here. You need to click on opportunities, and then you can just add like the opportunity count and you save it. And from there, you'll be able to like add it here at the bottom. You can see, and then you can title it. You can title it whatever you want to. So like review requests sent, pending reviewers, review link clicks, and non-reviewers. And so I know that was a little bit overwhelming, but the thing is you just have to set that up. And then in the automations, I'm tracking all that via the opportunities. So if you just use the snapshot the way it's supposed to be used, that should all be tracked automatically. So you have the dashboard. There's nothing, conversations, there's nothing going on in here. This launchpad is customized with CSS using HL Pro Tools. You can find my link for that somewhere in the community. Once again, this is not a concern. Don't worry about customizing this dashboard to make it super simple. This launchpad to make it super simple. And also don't even worry about customizing this dashboard. Most of my clients don't even log in. 90% of my clients don't even log in. So it's not really important. But if we click on conversations, there's nothing going over in the snapshot in here. It's just conversations tab. Same thing with calendars, same thing with contacts. Opportunities is just, there's this one pipeline that we use for tracking, nothing in payments. If we go to marketing, we can go check out the trigger links and we can check out the email templates. So the trigger links, we have 2 trigger links in here. One is for the email review request and one is for the SMS review request. And so we have 2 separate trigger links. That way we can track where we're getting the most amount of clicks, whether it's the text or whether it's the emails. And you can see in here, this is just dynamically pulling in the custom value of the Google review link. So we'll dive a lot more in depth into custom values here in a bit, but you can see this Google review link key. If I put my Google review link right here, this key is just automatically adding that to the trigger link. So dynamically, the Google review link is right there. So if I change the Google review link in the custom values, it's going to change it in the trigger link as well. And so these are just in the email templates and in the SMS templates in the workflows. And then if we go to social planner, I'm sorry, not social planner, we go to email templates. You can see we have 5 templates here, or 4 templates. I don't know why this one's here. You can delete this one. But the 4 templates we have are not sending enough review requests, review requests with images. So this is like kind of, it has HTML, looks a little prettier, etc. You can see what it looks like here.
would you recommend us? And request referral with images. So this is just like the same situation, but we're requesting a referral instead of a review. This is just kind of a just a little nudge. There's no super complex, form or automated process for tracking and stuff like that. It's really just a nudge. And then plain text review request, which this is what I'm leaning towards right now and setting my new clients up on, because when you open up an email that has images that's from someone who's never sent you something before, there's a good chance it's popping up, says, hey, do you trust this? Do you want to display images? Do you trust this email? And so if we just send this plain text over, it looks like the business owner actually sent it over themselves, and it doesn't look like it's spammy or something like that. So this is what we're using in the templates now. So that's the 4 email templates, and these are kind of littered throughout the workflows. So now let's dive into the workflows. But actually, before we go into the workflows, I want to show you kind of the brains of the snapshot. So if we go to custom values here, these custom values are the brains of the snapshot. This is what makes everything tick, okay? So the Google review link, when you come and onboard a new client, you're going to come and change stuff pretty much only in the custom values. Like my goal is for you to not have to change anything anywhere else. You just come to the custom values, put in their Google business profile, Google review link, you put in their logo link and stuff like that. And so what all of these things are is this Google review link, this is just their link to leave a review. And so once you connect their Google business profile, you can go to reputation, you can go to settings, you can go to review link right here. And then once their Google business profile is connected, you'll be able to click on Google and you'll be able to grab their link right there. And once you copy that, you want to come in here and you want to paste it into the custom values. Okay. So once you do that, you want to grab their logo link. And so when you grab their logo, you want to make sure that it's 400 by 160. So it doesn't look all squashed and weird. So if I go to my Canva account real quick, we can see I probably have something where it's 400 by 160. What you have to do, if you're using Canva, all you have to do is just upload custom size, make it 400 by 160, and create a new design. And then you can just upload the logo or whatever it is. And then what you want to do is you want to remove the background. So you can see this is just an example here. We want to make this kind of big, and then we can just click on this image and remove the background. I wouldn't actually use this. I was just doing a screenshot. So this is a little bit low quality. I'd probably go find it from their Facebook or whatever instead. But anyways, from there, you want to download this with a transparent background. So download, make sure you click on transparent background, download this. And then from there, to get their logo link, you can just go to media storage. So go to media storage. You want to add this link there. And then now you can paste that logo link right in there. So custom values, boom. Now you can just add their logo link right here like that, right? So that's pretty easy. Nifty images, personalized image. We'll go over this in another video, but this, like how to create that. But this is basically that personalized image, how we personalize every single review request that sends out in the text. You'll add a link right here. Business owner first name for text and emails. This is basically showing you, it's basically what's the name we're going to send out in the text. So, and a lot of the verbiage we say, hey, this is John with ABC Plumbing or whatever. And so this is that business owner first name. Sometimes you might want to change this to like a technician or a sales guy or the receptionist name instead of the business owner name if the business owner isn't involved. So business name for text and emails. So this is the actual name of the business. Sometimes when they create their account, it'll be like ABC business, San Jose, California, be super long, right? And you just want to make it ABC business, right? So you can just put ABC business in here. Domain after the @ So what you want to do for this is you want to go to your email services. You want to see what is the sending domain you're using for this account. So for mine, you can see it's r.reviewers.com. And so for the custom values, you want to go ahead and go to this domain and add that there. So this is going to be added in the workflow somewhere. And what we have to do is the emails you're sending from, like the from email in the workflow, has to be consistent with the domain that you're actually sending these review requests from. So in the workflow actions, when we're saying when we're saying where is this email coming from, and we're kind of spoofing it and saying this is from such and such email, it's got to match clay@r.reviewers.com or whatever. It can't be a different domain because it might throw an error and it could go to spam. And so you want to make sure to add that sending domain there. How many review requests should be sent every 14 days? So you should either add 0, 1, 5, or 20 here. And basically what you want to figure out here is for this client, if they don't send X amount of reviews, I want to be notified. And so let's say that you have a custom closets client who probably only gets 5 clients a month. Then honestly, you could just leave this at 1. And if they aren't sending any review requests, or if they send 0 review requests in 14 days, then you want to be notified. And the reason I have it at 14 days is because you don't want to go a whole billing cycle without them sending any review requests or getting any reviews. And so let's say you have like a super high volume client who might have hundreds of customers every month. You probably want to set this to 20 so that if they don't send out 20 review requests in 14 days, there's probably an issue with the integration, or they're not adding contacts like they said they would, and you can come in and check or remind them to do that. And so what happens is you put a number in here, 0, 1, 5, or 20. If they don't hit that number every 14 days, then you and them will get an email saying they're not sending enough review requests. And that's that template that I talked about earlier, and I'll show you that in the workflow. All right, how many times should we follow up for a review? So this is going to be dependent off the business owner and how aggressive they want to be, and then also going to be dependent off of what type of business it is, right? So let's go back to the custom closet example. They might be very low volumes. They might only get 3 or 4 new customers a month. And so they probably want to be a little bit more aggressive, depending on the business owner. You can ask them. They probably want to be a little bit more aggressive with the follow-up process of getting people to leave a review. So you might want to follow up 3 times. And so this follow-up does not include the first message, right? Everybody's going to get 1 text and 1 email, right? But then how many more times do you want to text and email them afterwards? So this just means like, oh, I want to text and email them 1 more time, or 2 more times, or 3 more times. It doesn't put them through the entire workflow again. It just sends that number of more texts and emails, right? Whereas if you're doing like a pest control company who, let's say, services somebody every single week, and every single week they're being added to the workflow, which is like a recurring service, you probably want to do 0. That way, when they're getting added every week, they're not getting 4 texts and emails every 7 days with a request to leave a review. And so for recurring services, you probably just want to do 0. But for maybe a service that's only once a year or once ever, you might want to follow up more based off the business. So you just set the value either 0, 1, 2, or 3, and it's going to go through there. Review requests sent in the last 14 days. This is just a counting metric. You don't want to touch this. And then number 10 here is, does this client want to ask for referrals if the customer has already left a review? And so if this client has customers that keep coming through the workflow, that keep coming into the system, he keeps serving or whatever, or they keep serving, and they've already clicked the link to leave a review, does this client want to ask for a referral? Send that little nudge email and text saying, hey, we mainly grow based off word of mouth. Feel free to if you know any friends or family that would be interested in our services, please share with them. And so do they want to send that or not? I normally keep this off for any clients that are super high volume, like they're sending 300, 400, 500 review requests a month, or even like 200 review requests a month, right? But for my lower volume clients, I normally keep this on because I just don't want to, for my high volume clients, I don't want to inundate them with text and email expenses because it is another cost of an SMS. So it's really just personal preference as to what they want. And so now that you see the custom values, you understand how the brain of the snapshot works. These custom values are going to be littered throughout the workflows, and they're also going to control the routing of the workflows. And so I'll show you what I mean by that. And one thing that I forgot to show was, I haven't shown yet, is just the review faces filter page. And so this is basically just a filter page that instead of taking them directly to Google, it takes them to a page where it says, how is your experience with custom value business name? And so you'll see here in the funnel builder, this is all custom valued out. So this is automatically going to pull from that logo image. It's a custom value. You don't have to come into this builder every time. You don't have to come in at all. If you just fill out those custom values, it'll all be filled out automatically for you. And so you can see this is the business name pulling from the custom values. This is the logo pulling from the custom values. If they click on this green smiley face, it's going to the custom value Google review link. here. So once again, you don't have to do anything. If they click here, it's taking them to the next step in the funnel, which is to leave internal feedback. And so you can see here, feedback, tell us more. They can put their information in, they can tell us about it. And then we have, so this leave a public review down here is just for compliance. Google says that they, this is a more compliant way to do it. I mean, using the review filter page isn't super compliant. It's really just, we don't have it on by default in this snapshot. So you have to change it actively. So if you want to use this, if our clients really want to use this, then we allow them to do that. But we don't necessarily recommend it. And if they want us to do it, all you do is you just go to this filter page. You go to the review filtering page. You click on preview right here. And then you just want to copy this link. And so this is actually going to be your API domain that we set up the other day. You just want to copy that preview link, and then you want to go to marketing, trigger links, and then you just replace, instead of having this custom values key here in the trigger link pulling from that, you just want to replace it with the preview link. And so once these trigger links load here, so with that preview link that you just copied, you just click on edit here and you just replace this custom value key with the preview link. So you just paste that in right there and you save. And now when they click on the link, this trigger link in the email, or click on this trigger link in the text, instead of directing them directly to Google to leave a review, it's going to take them to this filter page to say, how was your experience with business name, their logo. Green takes them to Google. These two take them to the internal page to leave internal feedback. So that's how you set up the review filter page if that's something you're interested in. And also you can see once you start getting some data, you can go to analyze, trigger links, analyze, and you'll be able to see how many times the SMS link versus the email link has been clicked. All right, so now let's get into the meat and potatoes of basically the review workflows. So I'll click on number one here. Briefly going to just explain each workflow. So in each workflow, you'll see I have sticky notes going over what kind of some more details. So make sure to read those sticky notes. But this number one workflow, this is the review reactivation. So this is the first campaign you send out to the client's previous list of customers, right? To get them a bunch of reviews, right? And so you can see here what this workflow is doing is when you're added, we have a drip mode step just in case. So just in case you accidentally add a bunch of people, it's not going to send a bunch of review requests right away. And then in this step right here, we're just waiting 2 minutes just to kind of, once again, give us a little buffer in case we accidentally add a bunch of people here. And then has the customer already left a review? This is just checking to see whether that clicked tag has been added. So there's no way to track exactly who left a review. There's no amazing attribution because Google's not sending the data back as to what email or whatever left a review. We can see the reviewer's name, but that doesn't always match up, right? And so what we do is we just track those trigger link clicks. If they click the link to leave a review, we just assume they left a review and we quit following up. And so what this step here is doing is saying, if the tag includes clicked, then we don't want to request another review. If it doesn't include clicked, then we'll go down here and request a review. And so this is just a counting action. This is we're adding this contact to the counting workflow where we count how many review requests we send out. This is adding the update opportunity. So this is tracking it in the dashboard of how many review requests we've sent. This is adding the review reactivation tag. So you can see review reactivation. And then we send out the personalized image with the text. So, hey, first name, this is John. If you love working with ABC Business, would you mind leaving us a review? We really appreciate it. Here's the link. And then the trigger link, the SMS trigger link. So they click on this, it's going to be tracked to the SMS trigger links. And then you can see we have the custom value for the personalized image right here, automatically added. And so you shouldn't have to come into this workflow every time. You should just test it just to make sure it works. But all this stuff is custom valued out. So if you fix the custom values, you're good. And then email here, we just have this plain text email. So if I click on this, you can see we have the plain text template in here. And you can edit this per if you want to. You can save it as a new template or you can just save it as whatever. I'm just going to click off of that. But you can see the subject is, would you recommend the business name? And so this is going to pull in their custom value. And you see from name and from email are empty. And the reason being is in the settings of this workflow, we have the from name set as the business owner name, the custom value business name. So if you're working with ABC Business, the emails are going to come from ABC Business. And then you can see here the from email, we have the custom value sending domain. So this is what we did earlier in the custom values. We're saying, hey, what's after the @sign? That r.reviewharvest.com is automatically going to get put here. That way it's actually matching the sender domain of how we're sending these emails. I hope that makes sense. But basically it's like if you were to put clay@apple.com right here in the sending email, but then when I actually go to the settings and go to email services and you see it's not coming from apple.com, then it's going to throw spam. It's going to throw an error. So you have to have consistency between there. So yeah, this is just going to come from like the business owner name at r.reviewharvest.com or whatever you put in this custom value right here. So I hope that's pretty clear, this number 6 custom value. And then you can also see some other defaults that we have set. We have a specific time set for 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the account time zone. So you set the time zone at the account level, business profile, and you can see you can set the time zone here. And so it's going to send from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. just in that specific time zone, all 7 days of the week. So we recommend requesting reviews on Saturday and Sunday as well. It's actually some of our best days. If you want if you have multiple phone numbers in this sub account and you want to select a default number, you can. We don't do that because we don't have multiple phone numbers. But in here we have allow reentry turned on if you want to add people to this workflow multiple times. And we also have stop on response turned on, meaning if they respond to any text or an email, they'll automatically be removed from the workflow and they'll quit getting review requests. And that's just to protect us, just keep us from bugging people, And so we added the tag, we have the SMS, we have the email. Then we're going to wait 2 days, and then we're going to send another text and another email. If you want to come in here and adjust the copy for your clients or whatever, what the actual text says, feel free to, you can. And if you want to add the personalized image again, right here, you can. And then right here in the email, we have another email, info for contact name. This subject line is we're just trying to sell them on the opening it. We just want them to open the email, and then hopefully we can get them to click the link to leave a review once they open it. And then we'll wait 3 more days and send 1 more email. So we send 2 texts and 3 emails over like 6 days. And if at any point they click the link to leave a review or they respond to the email or text or anything like that, then they will be automatically removed from the workflow and not get anything else. And then what it's going to do here, it's just going to wait for 7 days. Because for 7 days, they could come back and see this email, or they could leave a review even though they haven't got a text in 3 or 4 days or whatever it is. And then after 7 days, we're like, okay, this person's not leaving us a review. So we add them to the non-reviewers pipeline. So that's review workflow number 1. The second one here is the review requests. So this is just when you reactivate their list. This is for those old customers that you download the CSV file for. Number 2 here is for your new customers. And so customers are added to this workflow by getting the tag customer. So the tag customer adds them. Where do we normally add the tag customer? We normally add that through the CRM integration, or I'll show you what to do if people are manually uploading contacts. But normally through the CRM integration in Zapier, we just add the customer tag. So if I check out one of our CRM integrations really quickly, I'll show you what that looks like. Let's just see review requester. Here's a good example. You can see new completed job in House Call Pro. We update the contact with the name, last name, phone number, email, and then we add the tag customer. So then that contact that's added from the completed job, you see completed job in House Call Pro, this contact that's added will automatically be added to the review request workflow. From there, we're going to remove them from that review reactivation workflow. If for some reason they're in both workflows at the same time, just like when you're first getting started with that campaign, it's going to check whether they've clicked the link to leave a review. So if they have clicked the link to leave a review, it's going to go to another filter step that says, and once again, this is just that click tag that we talked about before. If they have clicked the link to leave a review, it's going to come here and it's going to say, are we requesting referrals? Yes or no. So if the answer is yes, and we are requesting referrals, so you can see this Google, this is the custom value. if this Google review system custom value ask for referrals contains yes that you put in the custom value level, then it'll come down here and it's going to wait 22 hours or whatever, and it's going to do drip mode just in case, so you don't accidentally add a bunch of people in here. It's going to add the referral request tag, and then it's going to send just a referral request text and a referral request email. And these are just very simple stuff. You can come in here and edit the verbiage, or if you want to direct them to a certain link, you can add all that stuff in here, and you can see it's going to add the personalized image as well. And so that's what happens if they've already clicked the link to leave a review, and if you want to send referrals. If you don't want to send referral requests, then it's just going to come here. It's going to end the workflow, right? Once again, we got sticky notes all over this, kind of explaining what's going on. If they haven't clicked the link to leave a review before, then it's going to go here. It's going to add them to the review count, the biweekly review count, to track and see how many review requests they're sending. It's going to create an opportunity for the tracking dashboard. If you are doing something based off of a new appointment schedule, so let's say, for example, your trigger in Zapier is something different. Let's say that it is, instead of this, let me duplicate this real quick. Let's say instead of a new completed job, it's a new scheduled job, okay? And so the problem is that for a new completed job, we can just request a review right away, right? The job's been completed, great. But a new scheduled job, this could be scheduled for next week. And so we need to pull over the appointment data as to when it's scheduled for. And so we can pull over some test data here, and we can see, continue. We want to map the first name, the last name like normal, mobile number. I have a more in-depth video of how to create CRM integrations on my YouTube, and also in the course and the school community. But what we want to do, we have customer tag to add them to the workflow, right? What we want to do in this last booking date field, this will automatically be in all your sub accounts because it's just a field we have in the snapshot. In this last booking date field, we want to add the schedule info in end time. So end time or start time, whatever, you can adjust the wait step as needed, but we want to add this booking data, because what we're going to do here is, you can see in this workflow, we're automatically using this field to set the event start time. So I'd probably say 80% of my clients I don't have to do this with. Probably 85 or 90% of my clients I don't have to come in here and touch anything for it. But if we are triggering off of a new appointment being scheduled, so we can't request a review right away, and we need to pass along this appointment data, then what you do is you leave this contact last booking date in here. It's automatically going to be in there, and then it's dripping just in case. We're waiting advanced window. We're waiting 2 hours to make sure it's not 10. Make sure it's past 10 a.m. or 6:30 or whatever. We're adding the review request tag, and then we're adding sending the SMS and email review request here with the personalized image and stuff like that. But since we need to pass along that appointment data, instead of just waiting 2 hours, having a time delay of 2 hours, what we want to do is we want to do event appointment time here, and you want to do after. And one thing to note is that most of the time when you pull this data in, HighLevel is smart enough to grab the day, but it's not smart enough to grab the hour. So what's going to happen is when you push this through, it'd say, okay, March 17th, great. And then what would happen is it would send a review request. If let's say I had it set for after and 2 hours after the appointment, it would try to send the review request 2 hours after 3:17 at midnight. And so it wouldn't be able to send it because it's in the middle of the night. But then at 8 a.m. or at 9 a.m., once this advanced window comes up, when you can actually send review requests like during the day, so you can't send anything before 10 a.m. here, you can see. So it just send it at 10 a.m., which is an issue because the appointment's at 3 o'clock. And so since that's the issue, what I recommend, instead of trying to make sure it's all formatted correctly and doing some complex stuff in Zapier or in here to make sure it's formatted correctly, I just recommend setting this wait step to event appointment time, setting it to after, and just do like 1 day after. So then the next day it's going to send the review request. It's not that big a deal. If your client's really nitpicky about it, you can use like the formatter field in Zapier or the date formatter field in HighLevel to do that. But 1 day after, it should be totally fine. It's not really going to hurt conversion rate. But once again, you only do this you only set this to event appointment time if you are getting the data before you can send a review request, which most of the time we're not doing that, right? That's only if you're getting like new scheduled data and they haven't been served yet. But most of the time we just do it off a completed job or something like that, or invoice or something like that. And so we don't have to worry about that. But from there, we send the text and email review request, and then we're once again going to this step right here to see how many times we should follow up. So remember, in the custom values, you have this custom value here where we're saying, hey, how many times should we follow up? And so you can see every time in this workflow, people are getting one text and one email. Easy peasy, that's happening every time. But this custom value right here is, hey, how many times should we follow up? If it equals 0, if this custom value equals 0, you can see the custom value right here. If it equals 0, then we're not sending any more review requests, and we're adding these people to the non-review tracking pipeline because they're not going to leave us a review. If there is one follow-up, then we're going to wait 2 days and we're going to send one more text and email. You can see the verbiage on this is a little bit different. It's just kind of a follow-up. It's like, hey, this is Clay again. If you love working, whatever. Email verbiage is exactly the same, but then it's going to wait 7 days and then add them to the non-reviewer pipeline because they're not leaving us review, so we want to update the tracking. If we want to follow up twice, it's going to go down this workflow and follow up with 2 texts and 2 emails. If we want to follow up 3 times, it's going to go in this workflow, 3 texts and 3 emails. And then if that value is just empty, that custom value is just empty, you never filled it out, it's not going to follow up at all. So once again, it's just going to end that there. So that's the second workflow. Those 2 are the biggest workflows. So we'll start zooming through here in a second. All right, review link clicked. So this happens anytime somebody clicks the trigger link, the text or the email trigger link. You can see up here, it's going to go ahead and mark the opportunity as 1. We're just going to assume they left the review. And so it's going to move them to the review linked clicked stage and mark the status as 1. So once again, this is not an actual review. It's just the review link click, because there's no great way to track that right now. You can try to use the new review received trigger, like there is the new review received trigger, but this is a contactless trigger, meaning that it doesn't come through with contact data because HighLevel doesn't know, because Google doesn't tell us who left the review. So anyways, it just adds the click tag, and then it automatically removes them from all the other workflows. So if they're in a review request workflow, it's going to remove them from all the other workflows as soon as they click that link to leave a review. So if you're testing it with a contact, or you log into the inbox and you're seeing and making sure the link works, if you click on that link on their behalf, it's going to remove them from the review request workflow. And then let's see, customer response redirect. So this, you should only have this published if you are only doing review requests for this client and the client does not want to log in and check the inbox and stuff like that. So how we kind of frame like the new number and like not having access to the responses and them not being able to see the conversations window, how we kind of frame that is like, hey, the last thing that you want to do is come in here and have to check another inbox every day, right? You already got enough things to check between Facebook DMs, Instagram DMs, emails, texts, yada yada, whatever. The last thing you want to do is come check another inbox. And so this is just a complex workflow that's saying, all right, did we get a call? Did we get a text? Did we get an email? Is it an SMS or is it an email? We're going to add the tag that they replied. We're going to remove them from all of the workflows just in case they replied something really negative. We don't want to keep following up. If the reply is negative, we have a bunch of filters in here to see, a bunch of negative verbiage. So negative intent, no text, stop, yada, yada. If it includes any of this negative verbiage, it's going to automatically put them on D&D. Same thing with the email side. And then if it doesn't include the negative verbiage, we're going to wait 1.5 minutes, and then we're going to send them a text saying, hey, we don't have access to your reply here, but we still want to serve you. Please get in touch. And it's going to dynamically pull in the location phone number in the location website. So that's pulling in from the business profile. It's pulling in this business phone number, and it's pulling in this business website. So it's dynamically pulling those values in from there. So you want to make sure you have that set up, and then it's also going to send an email saying the same thing. Hey, thank you for your message. We don't have access to your reply, whatever. And if they just email us, then they're just going to email back, not a text as well. So that's the customer response, kind of redirecting to the client's website or phone number so they don't have to log in here. Number 5 here is contact created to automated review requests. And so you want to have this turned on if your client is adding contacts manually, say they're just coming to the contacts dashboard and they're uploading contacts every couple of weeks, or they're just uploading one contact at a time, they're just putting in the name of a contact, whatever. What we want to do is we want to have this number 5 workflow turned on, because we don't want our client to have to add a tag as well or figure out how to add it to a specific workflow. We want them just to be able to add a contact and they get a review request, easy peasy, And so to make it easy peasy, we have to have this workflow published. And so we only publish this workflow if we have a QuickBooks integration, because QuickBooks creates a contact and it says that you can send a review request. But if you see here, if we go to the integrations, if you are just to click on Connect QuickBooks right here, if you just were to click on this, it'll say send review request. But that is only sending a review request if you are using the native review request feature, which we don't use the native review request features right now because there's some limitations in terms of what you can and can't do. You can't send the personalized image. They just now finally added the ability to adjust follow-up verbiage in the SMS, in the emails and stuff, but you can still only send one SMS, like one template for the SMS. So that QuickBooks is only going to send the review request if you're using the native review request feature. And so what we have to do is we have to have this 5th workflow on so that when QuickBooks creates a contact, it's going to come down here and it's going to say, hey, does this contact have a phone number, or does this contact have an email? And if it does, it's going to add them to the review request workflow. And then it's going to add the customer tag just in case they're not added for some reason. Just in case for some reason they're not added, they're here, we're going to add the customer tag to it so that we make sure they get added. Once again, we only publish this if our contacts are, one, not using our HighLevel sub account for anything else. Like, you don't want to have this turned on if you're doing lead gen and they're adding leads in here, because then every time a lead is created, it's going to send a review request. You don't want to have that on. And then same thing for the 4 here. If you're doing lead gen in this sub account as well, and they're adding Facebook leads or Google leads or whatever, or contact leads from the website, you don't want to have this on, because as soon as that customer responds, it's going to redirect them to say, hey, we don't have to reply. You only want to have this turned on if you're only doing reviews, and you only want to have this turned on if they are adding contacts manually, or you're using a QuickBooks integration, or let's say you're using an integration that's not going to be able to add the contact automatically. That's not going to be able to add the customer tag. So like through GHL Connector, these contacts are going to come through without GHL Connector. These contacts are going to come through without the customer tag. And so you want to make sure you have this contact created to automated review request turned on for GHL Connector, if that's what the integration is. All right, so the number 6 review workflow here is notify when review requests are low. So what happens here, there's no trigger here. And so you have to add a contact manually at the beginning when you onboard a client. And so it doesn't matter what contact's in here. There just has to be some contact in here to push these actions through. And so you can see these are all internal notifications. So the contact that you put in here isn't going to get any notifications about what's going on in this workflow. It's simply just to make sure, It's simply just to make sure that all these actions fire off. And so once you onboard somebody, just, a step on that checklist of your onboarding checklist can be to add a contact to this workflow, any contact. And then from there, it's going to say, hey, it's going to set the level. Hey, what are we at right now? And then it's going to wait 14 days. And then it's going to do a math operation. It's going to see, hey, how many review requests have we sent? And if you set the review request to 0 and only send 0, no big deal. It's just going to go back up to the top and wait 14 more days and keep looping. But if you set it to 1, and let's say you sent less than 1, so not enough, the review request sent is less than 1, then it's going to notify you and your client to say, hey, the integration is not working. We need to make sure we add more contacts or something. So this is an internal notification to all the users that are added to the sub account. So as long as your client is added as a user to the sub account, they'll get that email. And then this is an internal notification to a specific email. And so you set this when we customize the snapshot, you'll set this here you'll put your email in here so you're notified, or your virtual assistant's email here so you're notified if they're not sending out enough review requests. And then same thing for 5 and same thing for 20. If you set it to 5, you want to make sure you're sending at least 5 review requests every 14 days, and they don't send at least 5, you're going to get notified. Same thing with 20. And if you don't set it to anything, it's just going to keep looping, and you can see it's just going to go back and it's not going to send any notifications. So that's the notify when review requests are low workflow. The 7th workflow here is just the internal feedback submitted. So if somebody goes to that review filter page and they said they had a bad experience, they click on the red smiley face, the red frowny face, or the yellow straight face, it's going to add the tag that they left internal feedback, and then it's going to send that to the users of the sub account. So if your contact's added as a user, it's going to dynamically pull all this information in. You want to make sure you adjust this with your business name. That'll be in the customizing review snapshot video. And it's going to pull in all the contact details from the person that left the negative review. And it's going to say, hey, we saved a bad review from Google. You'll put your business name in here. Once again, that's in the customizing snapshot video. And then it's just going to update this opportunity as lost because they left a negative review. So yep, updates as lost just for tracking. And the 8th workflow here is just if somebody adds the tag D&D or anything close to D&D, it's just going to turn on do not disturb. And the 9th tag here is just counting. So this is just counting how many review requests. This is just doing pending reviewers to non-reviewers. So if somebody gets to the very end of the workflow, the review request workflows, we're adding them to this workflow here, and we are adding the tag non-reviewer, and we're also updating the pipeline saying, hey, they lost. They're lost. We lost this opportunity. They didn't leave a review. And so at the end of the 1, the 0-1 and the 0-2 workflows are when we add people to this workflow to say, hey, they're lost calls. They didn't leave us a review. And then this is just the automated counting how many review requests have been sent every 14 days, etc. So that's just right through here. And you don't have to touch this thing, that workflow at all. So those are all the workflows. We went over the workflows, the custom values.
So now what we're going to do is we are going to create your own snapshot. So I've given you a snapshot, and what you're going to do is you're going to want to download the snapshot that I've given you. We're going to create a sub account from that snapshot, okay? And then we're going to customize that sub account with your info. So there's a couple places in this snapshot that we want to brand it to your business name and stuff like that, just to make it more personalized. And then from there, you're going to create a new snapshot from your customized sub account, right? And so now you're going to use this new snapshot that's branded for all your name, business info, etc., for your clients. And so if I didn't do this, I would just have to make a very gray labeled snapshot that wouldn't really be great for your clients, because when you're emailing them or whatever, it's not going to be coming from your business name. It would be something different, and so something gray labeled. And so you want to obviously have your brand showing through that, hey, we saved, your business name saved a bad review from Google, not just some gray labeled name. So we have to do it this way. So what you want to do is you're going to click here and import the snapshot into your account. You're going to make sure that you're on the app.GoHighLevel level. You don't want domain. You want to make sure you're not on your white label domain, because that can throw some errors. And you want to click on yes, import now, and then you'll see this show up in your account snapshots. And so you can see just imported it here, Google reviews for affiliates, perfect. And so from here, you want to go ahead and create a new account with this snapshot. And so you can add all the test info manually here. You can just title it something along the lines of like my business, so whatever your business name is. So review snapshot. This is going to be for your clients. So you can say for clients, the ones that you use moving forward every time you get somebody. So I'm going to fill out all this test info and create a sub account. So I just went in and put in some dummy data. You could put your own data if you want to. It doesn't really matter too much. This is just what's going to be on the settings of the sub account, which no one's actually going to use the sub account, so it doesn't matter too much. But we're going to go ahead and add this sub account. All right, so once it loads in, we want to switch to the sub account. And then we can go ahead and start looking through. So you can see here, the dashboard is going to be pulled in. It's just not going to be default. And so The default one we want here is this review harvest one. And so to edit this, I don't know why it's not letting me do that. Let's just refresh the page. For a little while, HighLevel did not allow dashboards to come over as default with snapshots, but I believe they updated that. Let's wait for this to load. You can see it loaded in here now. It says that this review harvest dashboard is default. So that's good. You just want to make sure that's the same. But this isn't going over the walkthrough. Watch the previous video to go through the complete walkthrough of how this snapshot works and how everything works together. This is just going over editing the snapshot. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go edit the not sending enough review requests email template. So we want to add your white label domain there. And then if you want to, you can customize your adding contacts video if you'd like to. But we're going to go to email templates. So we're going to go to marketing. We're going to email templates. And then from here, we can go ahead and, I don't know why there's a new template there, but we can go ahead and edit the not sending enough review request templates right here. Click on this edit icon. And now just by default, I have that app.gohighlevel.com link in here, but now you want to put your white label domain. So for me, it'd be like app.reviewharvest.com. For this, it's just going to be whatever white label domain you created previously. And you can save that. And then this adding contacts video I have right here is just kind of a white labeled version of how to add contacts to HighLevel. So you can either keep this the same way, you can just keep this as is, or if you want to create your own version of how to add contacts. Once again, this email is sent out to your customers if they are not sending enough review requests. So from the custom value level of the sub account, you can set how many review requests you expect them to send out every 14 days. And if they do not hit that threshold that you set for them every 14 days, it's going to send you and them this email to let you know they're not sending enough review requests. So for example, on the custom value level, you can put you expect them to send out 20 review requests every 14 days. If they send out 17 review requests every 14 days, you and them will get this email saying, hey, we noticed you only sent out 17 review requests in the last 14 days. Does this sound right? Yada, yada. So you just want to make sure that they click here to log in. It's taking them to your white label domain, not app.gohighlevel.com, right? And then same thing, if you want to customize the video, you can. So we want to save that. So that's the first thing we have done. The second thing is we want to edit the workflow for notify when review requests are low. And so what we're going to do here, we're going to go to automation. We're going to go to review workflow, notify when review requests are low. This is just same situation. We want to send that internal notification to them. So there's 6 actions we need to edit here. You honestly can just edit them on one and then copy them over to the others. So let's see. We want to click on this internal notification that's going to your client, and you want to put your business name in here. So you put Review Harvest or whatever the name of your business is, you can put that here. And then your email. So you can put, reviewharvest@gmail.com. Whatever the name of your whatever the name of your email is, just put your email in right here so it looks like it's coming from there. And you want to make sure that it's matching you want to make sure that this is matching the sending domain. So actually for you, it might be better for you to do like clay@r.reviewharvest.com or whatever your domain is. So as long as that domain is the same, it'll match and it's fine. But if it's completely different than the sending domain, let's say if it was like clay@emailreviewharvest.com, like that's something different. And so clay@reviewharvest.com would work because that is the sending domain from the account is r.reviewharvest.com. But just you want to check and make sure that it's not going to spam or whatever. But you want to change your from email here, change your from name there, and then you're good to go. And then you also want to come to this action right here, and you want to change the from name. So from Review Harvest, there you go. And from email, once again, clay@reviewharvest will work fine because that's the same domain I'm sending from. It's just a subdomain of it. But you want to check and make sure. So if you want to check and test this action, you can just test the workflow and push it through and just make sure, or you can just test the action down here by sending an email this way. But so this one is actually, this internal notification is going to you. So you want to put what email you want to send this to. So let's say we want to send it to support@reviewharvest.com. That's the email you want to send it to. So you're notified as well that, hey, something's up in this account. We need to make sure it's working. And then once you have that done, you can just save this action. And actually what I would do is I would just delete, all actions from here. Delete all actions from here. And then I would just copy all actions from here. Paste it here. Oh, didn't work. Copy all actions from here, paste it here, same situation. Copy all actions from here, paste it here. And you can see this workflow is just looping. So every 14 days, it's counting how many did it hit the minimum. If it does, if the minimum is set to 1 and it hits the minimum, it's going to go up and not notify. But I'll have more information on this on the actual walkthrough video. That is the video previous showing you how the snapshot works. But that's the second thing you need to adjust. And the third thing is just this internal feedback submitted workflow. So let's go back. We want to say, hey, your business name saved a bad review from Google. If they're using the review faces page or they're using that review filter page or whatever, you want to say your business did. So you want to say, hey, this is from Review Harvest or whatever the name of your business is. And then you want to say it's from Clay@reviewharvest.com or whatever. And then you want to replace this and say Review Harvest or Review Blast or whatever your business name is. Review Harvest saved a bad review from Google. And then down here at the bottom, you also want to replace this. It's just like making it seem like it's from you. So from your business. And so just save all of that, change it. So now it's customized with your info. And that is it. You are good to go now. Everything is customized. And now what you want to do is you want to create a new snapshot from this sub account. So now let's go switch to agency view. Let's go to account snapshots. It'll load. And you want to create a new snapshot. And now you can title this your business name. So your business name right here. Review snapshot for clients. Review snapshot for clients. Just make sure you know what it is. This is going to be the snapshot you now use when you onboard a new client. And you're going to select the sub account, and the sub account's name was, forget what it was. My business review snapshot for clients. Yeah, so you're going to select that sub account. You're going to go next. You want to make sure you select all. That's what you're doing it from. And now that snapshot is going to load in here slowly. So you can see here it is. Now let's say for some reason you mess something up or you want to change something on that snapshot. All you have to do is go into this sub account, make the edit, and then you just click on this refresh button. So you go to the sub account, link to the snapshot, you make the edit. So say you change a workflow or you add a workflow or you add something, then you can just click on refresh and you can just select all and you're going to refresh whatever update you made and it's going to update that snapshot. And then from there, even cooler is that if you want to push that update to any previous linked accounts, you can go here and push to linked accounts and you can select what sub accounts you want to push it to based off of whatever sub accounts have been created from that. So yeah, it's a really cool way of keeping your clients up to date. If you ever add new processes and stuff like that. One thing that I don't recommend at all is like adding snapshots on top of snapshots gets so messy. This snapshot is built and designed so that it can work, and it will work if you're putting it inside, a snapshot with something else. But this is just for review, so you don't want to put this review snapshot in your actual sub account for your business name or for your business or agency where you're doing your own marketing from. This is only for your clients because it's a very simple snapshot. So hopefully that helps. Now at the end of this video, you should be ready to rock and roll and start onboarding, doing some test onboardings with now your snapshot.
So if you aren't on the $497 plan of HighLevel and you're on the 97 plan or the 297 plan, but you want to collect payments on your website, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create Stripe pricing links. And so you can see like right here, this is on the $497 plan, you can direct to basically a pricing page, checkout form or whatever, that they can put their card information in, whatever, and then they can automatically create their own sub account and stuff like that through the SaaS Configurator. But if you don't have that plan yet, it's no big deal. What I did for the longest time, even when I was on the $497 plan, is I just create Stripe pricing links. So if you go to my website right now, you can see I'm still using Stripe pricing links. I think they just look way cleaner than the checkout form, but you can see start here. We have the Stripe pricing link right here that pulls up. And so how to create that Stripe pricing link is, one, you have to first have a product. So go to products and you can create a product. So if you haven't already done this, you just click on create a product. You can title it, let's just say test starter plan or whatever. And you can do this for all of your plans. So test starter plan. And from here, you can add a description. So test, you can say, such and such reviews, yada, yada, whatever you want to put there for the description. That's what's going to pop up right here under the description. And then from there, you can make the price recurring, obviously, because we're going to do monthly. You can do whatever price you want to do, 97, whatever, and billing period monthly. And then you can include sales tax, yes or no. I would say no for our digital services for most people, and click on add product. And so once you create that product, now you have this product here, and you can click into here and you can actually add additional prices. So let's say you want to add a yearly price, you can do $970, and you can do annually, so billing yearly. So now we have one product, this test starter plan, and we have this price and that price for monthly and annual. Now from there, we can create a payment link. So click on these three dots right here and click on create a payment link. And so from there, you can adjust it to collect tax, make sure they require their phone number. I would definitely say try to get them to put their phone number in there. You can do a custom field. That's what I like to do. Just do business name, so you get their business name as well. So do business name. So they'll have to add that there. You can see. And then the last thing and really important thing is to direct them to your onboarding call page after they check out. So go to your website, and if you have like an onboarding call page, let's see, onboarding or something like that. Let me see. Let me go to it. 1 second. So if you have your onboarding call here, you just want to copy this link, and then after they check out, after payment, you want to direct them to that link. That way, after they do that, after they put their card information in, they'll be prompted to book an onboarding call, so you can set them up and start getting results. And so then you can take this copy link right here, the link that they just gave you, you can go to your homepage of your website, and you can scroll down to the pricing section once it loads. And also, I wouldn't worry too much about the annual versus monthly. Nobody's just going to sign up for just annual. Okay, not nobody, but like it's very, very rare that somebody's just going to sign up, or it'd be crazy if somebody just signed up for the annual plan without, while you're just getting started with stuff like this. What I recommend, just keeping all your monthly prices on the website. And if somebody is going to sign up and get a card on file and stuff like that already, they'll just do the monthly prices, and then you can upsell to the annual plan afterwards. Let me see why this is loading real quick. All right, so after that took forever to load, we can scroll down and you can go to your pricing section, click on this choose starter button, and you can just go to a URL, website URL, and then you can paste that Stripe link. And so basically you'd want to go through the same process I just went through with all three of your different products. So you'd want to create another product, create it for like the medium plan, create the payment link, and then add it to the website, and then just save it. And so that way we publish this and we go check out the website now. Now, when somebody goes to check out for that plan, it's going to take them to the pricing section. And so you see here the payment link. So now went to the Stripe payment link. There's a lot of stuff that you can do in Zapier to automate account creation based off of somebody signing up for this payment link and getting started. That's kind of beyond the scope of just this course of just getting started with the basic stuff, but I will have training on that. I already do have training on that in kind of the more advanced modules of the school community. But yeah, so that's how you do it with each one. The next video, I'm going to show you how to, now that you have your client's payment information in Stripe, in the next video, I'm going to show you how to attach that to their sub account so you can turn on rebilling and that sort of stuff. So if you're not using the SaaS Configurator, how do you get your client's card information into HighLevel without asking for it twice? So I'm going to show you how to do that here. So if you have your Stripe account integrated with your HighLevel agency plan, then anytime you get card information or a new customer in Stripe, then you can transfer that over to HighLevel because the two are talking to each other, so they can go back and forth. And so let's just say if you're not using the SaaS Configurator plan, you're probably creating these sub accounts manually, going through this process of adding your snapshot, going in and filling in the information and doing that manually, or you're doing it automatically through Zapier, and you probably want to attach card information to it. So all you can do to attach card information, let's just take ABC business as an example. You want to make sure that this business already has a user in it. The business has to have a staff member or a user in it to do this. So let's go ahead and switch this business real quick and see, just to make sure. Let's ABC business. Looks like I got multiple ABC businesses, so buckle up. So I think that this one right here already has a user. If you don't know how to add a user, just go to the actual sub account. So come into the sub account and then go to the settings of the sub account. So sub account, settings, and you can see from here, go to my staff, and just you can add yourself or somebody as a user. If you want to add yourself and you're already in there, you probably should go to the agency view and add yourself through there. And so you can go to your agency view, you can go to my staff and just add yourself as a location in there. I'll show you how to do that real quick. Go to agent settings, team, and go to I'll go to King, for example, and you can just edit and you can add yourself to another sub account. So we can just add King to ABC business or both ABC businesses right here, just to make sure that there's a user in there so that we can attach card info. But normally, obviously, you want to make sure that this is actually your client's information. So you want to make sure your client's added as a user before, but I'm just showing this as a demo. But anyway, so we go here and we click on switch to SaaS mode. And from there, we can say, I already have customer in Stripe. So if you don't have them in Stripe, you can send them a link via SMS. You can send them a link via email. You can copy this link and just share it with them to put a card on file. Or if you already have them in Stripe, you can just look it up. You can look up Clay or whatever. And let's just look up. I've got a bunch of test accounts in here. Holy moly. Let me see. Anyways, you can just I'll just add myself as a test for now. You just add yourself in here, add their business, their name in there, the one that has a card attached to it in Stripe. And so now you can see we've switched to SaaS mode. It'll take a second to register. So if I click on Manage Client, it probably hasn't registered yet. But now when we come in here, if you want to, you can add a SaaS Configurator plan. You can enable rebilling. If you're on the $297 plan, you can turn on rebilling. You just won't be able to mark it up. But if you're on the $497 plan, you can turn on rebilling and you can mark it up. If you're on the $97 plan, you won't be able to do that. But you can see SaaS mode says pending payment information. So that just means that the customer ID that I attached from Stripe is bad. But from here, you'd be able to turn on rebilling and do all that stuff if you connect the proper client to this sub account just by clicking this. All right, so creating your SaaS configurator plans, you're only going to be able to do this if you are on the $497 plan. And so what this allows you to do is somebody can sign up on your website and it automatically creates their sub account with their information and adds them as a user. So it's basically just an automation that allows you to become more like a software company and automate a lot of stuff on the back end. You do not need the $497 plan to get started, okay? You don't need the $497 plan to get this rock and rolling. You can just use Stripe payment links like we've talked about before in the website training video. And so instead of like having, like when you go to review, when I go to my testing page, instead of when you go down to pricing, clicking here and it's pulling up the SaaS configurator, you can just have them going to either the demo call and you can create the call, you can create the account manually, or you can have this going to a Stripe pricing page where you get their card on file and stuff like that. And then you just manually create their sub account and add them as a user. And I'll show you how to do all of that in the training, but later in the training in school. But for now, if you are in the 497 plan, I'm going to show you how to create your SaaS configurator plans. And the next video will be how to add these to your website. So we'll click on add plans right here. You can title it, you just say basic plan or whatever you want to call it, and say starter. So at this point, you should already have your pricing plans. So just say this is the lowest plan, but this is just a little description for you. Just a little description for you so you know what's what. Click on next. Category. You can have different categories now, like what category is this plan under? So that's like at the high level if you want to do that. But usually that's not too important unless you have like a bunch of pricing plans and stuff like that. All right, details. You can just do whatever your pricing is. So you can do like 97 or 99 or whatever you're going for. And then for annual, I recommend only just doing like 10x. So they get 2 free months if they do annual, 2 whole free months. So you just times it by 10. And you can do a user limit or a contact limit. So I don't do anything like this because this is not on a monthly basis. This is like I wish the contact limit was like only 50 new contacts could be added to the sub account each month, but it's not like that. It's just total, and so I just leave that off. And then user limit is like, do you want them to be able to add their employees and stuff like that? And so I leave that off as well. All right, and so under features, what you want to do here is you want to make sure you add your snapshot. So you should have already created and customized your snapshot. So you want to click on Add Snapshot, and then you just want to add your snapshot. So whenever you title it, you just want to attach it here. So now when somebody signs up with this SaaS plan, this SaaS configurator plan, it's going to automatically create a sub account from that snapshot. So you already have all those workflows, all those email templates, all that stuff already built out in their account. And now from here, you can decide what features you want to add and take away. So we don't need web chat. We do need two-way text and email. We don't need GMB messaging. We do want reputation management. We don't need GMB call tracking. We don't need Facebook Messenger. We don't need missed call text back or text to pay. We do need the social planner. We do need the CRM for the opportunities and the contacts and stuff like that. We do need the opportunities. We do need email marketing. And when you think about this, this is basically, if you do not include the feature that is required, if you do not include a feature that is required for the snapshot, then it's going to break the snapshot. And so if you don't include trigger links, then the trigger links in the text and emails aren't going to work. And so you want to make sure you include trigger links. You want to make sure you include forms, because we have that form on the website on the funnel page for a filter page if you're using the review filter page. You want to make sure that you turn on SMS and email templates because we use email templates. You want to make sure funnels is turned on because we use that review funnel. You want to make sure workflows is turned on. Even though we don't necessarily want our clients to come in here and look at our workflows, we do want to keep workflows turned on because we need that. And also, one thing you can do on your snapshot, it might be done by default, but under this folder, under your snapshot, you can adjust the permissions, so manage permissions, and you can make it to where only people on the agency level can see these workflows. So you don't have your clients in here fooling around with it. Should have covered that on the snapshot walkthrough video, but so we don't need websites turned on. We don't need memberships. We don't need triggers. Triggers I don't really know why they have this separate from workflows if it's the old campaigns function, but we don't really, you can just leave it on. Better safe than sorry. Campaigns doesn't have to be on. Blogs doesn't have to be on. All reporting doesn't have to be on. Affiliate manager doesn't have to be on. Proposals and estimates, communities, certificates, all that stuff can be turned off. So if you look at my pricing page, you can see that I don't separate, this isn't my pricing, but you can see it's the same situation. I don't separate the pricing by new features. Like I don't add a chat widget on this plan. I don't add any more features. All of my plans have the same exact feature set. The only difference is how many review requests we're sending out per month. And so for all your SaaS Configurator plans, you're just going to go through and create the same exact features. So add-ons, we don't add any of these add-ons, so you can go next. Trial credits, this is just if you want to make a 14-day free trial or whatever trial you want to decide on, do that. And then credit when signing up. If you want to add like $10 of text and email expenses or whatever, when they sign up, you can, or you don't have to, it's up to you. And then you can adjust your rebilling here. And so what I do is we just keep all our rebilling marked at the lowest possible. So you have to make sure you go to finish through each one. And I needed to go through back and edit that. So let's go edit, go to rebilling. You see it looks a little bit different now that you've already created it, but you want to just make sure that's saved, save changes, email, just don't mark it up, just 1x. So let's say, for example, if you were using like the master sending account or something, where you're not sending SMS from their client sub account, you might want to mark up the email like 10x if you're sending the emails from it to kind of cover your expenses for the SMS other places. But you can just come in here and leave all these as 1.05 just to cover your Twilio, just to cover your Stripe rebilling charges, or you can mark it up or leave it at whatever you want to. Personally, I'm not trying to make money on this stuff. I just want to make money on the monthly subscription, and I just want to not lose money on the other stuff, So there's that. So that's how you create the plan. And now what you would basically do is you just go and create 3 more plans. So you do the same exact thing. We're going to add a plan. We're going to say medium plan. This is the middle plan, so just a description. And then you go through and you can do the same exact features. You can do the same category. And you can do the pricing. Let's see how we can do 190. That's perfect. 197 and 119.70. Features, you can do the same exact features. So all these are already going to be default because this is all coming from the basic plan, the things that we included last time, and we don't really need to or want to include anything else. So we can just go next, and we're fine there. We don't want any add-ons. You can go through and keep adding all that stuff there. And so once you get done with all this, you finish. And now you have your SaaS Configurators plan. And now you have your SaaS Configurator set for your plans. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add this SaaS Configurator plans to your website so somebody can just sign up on your website. All right, so now that you've created your plans, let's talk about how to customize the welcome email. So if you're in your agency view and you're in SaaS Configurator, you can see you have all your plans here. If you click on advanced settings, you can configure some stuff here. So if their card fails, you can suspend their account. You can allow the sub-account admins to upgrade their subscription to the next plan if they'd like to. And then you can also turn on whether you want to allow them to cancel their subscription without talking to you or not, just within their dashboard. So all that's personal preference, totally up to you and what you want, how you want to run your business. But you can see right here, customize your welcome email. So you can click on customize now. And here you'll be able to add your own logo. So you can see I've already kind of edited a little bit. It looks a little bit weird. The formatting is, but you have to kind of just play around with it. It should look better on your desktop. I don't know why it's looking like this on mine right now. But by default, I think it'll have the lead connector logo in here. And so you want to come in here and change this logo to your logo. You want to put your business name. Your account has been created. You send them their first name, email, and password, and they can click there to log in. So this is the email they're going to get sent once they create their account, when they sign up on your funnel or on your website here, and they go through the SaaS Configurator step, which I'm about to show you how to create, how to add those products to your actual website. They'll get that email when they sign up. And a couple other things here too is you can turn it on to where you pause new sub accounts until you've manually reviewed them. That way people can't log in and send a bunch of text or emails or whatever through your sub account or do something nefarious or whatever you want to call it. And then this is just if you want to configure a different payment processor, you can do that here. But anyway, so that's how you adjust your welcome email. You just come to agency view, come to advanced settings, and customize now. All right, so now let's talk about how to actually add these SaaS plans to your website. So you've created the SaaS plans in your agency level, and you have your Stripe account connected to the agency level, so that when you created these agency plans, and when you created these SaaS configurator plans, it's actually creating products in your Stripe. And what you can do from here is you want to come into the sub account that you have your website on. So whatever sub account you have your website hosted on, you want to come in here and you click on payments. You want to click on products. And then from here, we want to import from Stripe. And so from here, it says you do not have a provided API key. All right, so it looks like I haven't connected my Stripe account into the sub account yet. So I am not practicing what I preach here. So we click on settings and you just click on integrations and you just want to connect your Stripe account. Continue. You just want to connect your Stripe account to this sub account. And so you click on connect and you click on connect with Stripe. And I'm going to pause it real quick. All it's asking you to do is just log in. Come to this process and you'll log in and it should connect to lead connector and boom, there you go. You're ready to rock and roll. So now that you have that integrated, now we can go back to products and we can import from Stripe and we can select a price. So we'll select our $97 one, import. It'll bring over the trial. It'll bring over all the information, whatever you put in the description. So you can just save that and go back. And then you can import over your annual plan for that same price. So that same, you bring over the annual plan and it's actually going to kind of, it's going to put it in the same product here. So you can see two prices for the same product because we have the annual and we have the monthly. And then we can do the same thing for the medium plan. Import price, and you can keep doing this for 3 plans, obviously. You can just save it. It's going to bring all the details over. You can add a photo or whatever you want to, but go back. All right, so now that we have these products in the actual sub account, we want to go to sites, and we want to add these products to our website. So you have a couple options here. So if you look and you view the demo website, just the example, by default, I have a pop-up page. So I think that most people aren't just going to, especially when you're getting started, you're not going to have people just sign up and get the card on file right away, right? And so that can be a challenge in its own. So I just have this pop-up page instead of using the pop-up for an order form. So basically, like, one option we could have is like when someone clicks here, it could take them to a pop-up form on the site for them to check out. But instead, I think for now, it makes more sense to kind of collect those leads. And so you have a couple options. If you really want to keep that home page, the pricing on that home page and not connect to another page, you can just edit this pop-up setting and remove this and add a 2-step order form or order form here instead. What I think I would recommend is, instead of that, I would just duplicate your contact page here. So let's clone the contact page, clone the page in this website. And then you want to click on edit. And what I would do is I would just remove this form. You can just say, instead of contact us, you can say, let's get started. And then you could add any copy or text you want to here. And instead of this form here, we'll just add a 2-step order form. So we can go ahead and drag the 2-step order form here, and we want to adjust this slightly. So you can see we don't want to show shipping stuff. So if we click on this, we go to advanced. We want to turn off shipping. So let me drag this camera out of the way. So we want to remove the shipping. So if you click on the 2-step order form, click on advanced, you can scroll down to where it says show shipping, or I guess scroll up, whatever, and you can remove shipping. And so you can do a 1-step order form if you'd like to instead. I'd recommend doing the 2-step. That way you can do like an abandoned cart sequence. So if somebody doesn't put their card info in, at least you collect their lead and their phone number and email and stuff before. And so you can keep company name, keep full name, keep email address, keep phone number. That's all important stuff to have. I would recommend turning on your enable terms and conditions, so you can link your terms and conditions right here. So I recommend doing that. And then you can also change this from shipping to like basic info. And you can change this to like business info or something. And then, so that's good for the first page, and we want to enable You can turn on coupon codes off or on if you want to. That's going to be on the next page. Sticky contact, you can turn that on so that they fill out a form on your site before. It's going to pull their contact information automatically. So we can go to step 2 here, and you could say, we can do like payment info here instead. So payment info, and we could then go to, we could add like payment info here too, or more info, whatever you want to put here underneath it. And edit shipping details, you can just go back to edit business info, I guess. So it says edit shipping details right there, but you can just change this to whatever you want to change it to. And then once again, we can just make sure terms and conditions are on, or you can do it on one or the other. You don't have to do it on both, I guess. And then but what a bump product is a bump product is like if you wanted to add an additional product to try and upsell them on. I've never done that. Feel free to do whatever you want to do. But once you add this here, we want to save this, and you just want to go back to your pricing page, to your home page, and you want to direct them to this. Also, what we want to do is we want to on submit. So after they submit, we want to direct them to the book an onboarding call page. So if we go to general, let's try and find button actions, sale actions, go to page, go to onboarding call page. So this is like after the sale happens, go to the onboarding call page. So they can are prompted to book an onboarding call. And you can like change the text on the onboarding call page to be like, thanks for signing up. If you haven't already, book an onboarding call here, or something like that. And then you can obviously change your color of your thing. So you could change these colors to match your branding and stuff like that on the rest of the website. But if we just go ahead and save this, we want to now go to that pricing page, the home page, and the pricing section on the home page, and we want to direct it to that pricing page that we did. So if we scroll down, we can just go to the pricing section, and now we can just direct people. So you can click on these buttons. You can, instead of having the payment link or having some other going to like the sales call page or something, you can just do the contact clone page, which for you can title this. You can title your pricing page or your checkout page, like the checkout page. I just duplicated it. That's why it says contact clone. But you can just change all of these to that. And then from there, you can see on the main website, if we go here and we just click on like the choose starter plan, now we can go ahead and check out. So I'll go ahead and check out here, and you can see kind of what happens. So we go there, we agree to terms and conditions, and we can go here. It says no products available. All right, so the reason it says no products available here on this page is because I forgot to add the products to the actual page. And so what you have to do is you have to go back, and we have to go to contact clone or the pricing page that you just added the checkout form to, and now we need to add all these products to it. So click on add product, and you can then just add your basic plan. You can choose what price you want to do, and you can add these for all of it. So you can add, let's add the medium plan too. And I'll just show you an example too. So when you do this, since it is a free trial, it's going to show up as $0, and it's going to say 97 later or whatever. Or I'll just show you 2 examples. So I'll add 197 as the price override for here, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, and so now that these products are added, if we go back to this checkout page and I refresh, and I go through, agree, and from here, you can see, all right, so look. So if you add the price override, it's going to add whatever you put there. I like just keeping it at 0. Hey, it's $0 today, and then you can see 14-day trial, then $97 after that. I prefer doing that. But from here, they can just click on whatever product they want to purchase or whatever, and we'll just do the basic one for now. And they can put their card info in. So I'm going to go ahead and put my card info in and then show you what happens on the back end. All right, so you can see after I filled out the form and I completed it and put my card info in and stuff, it took me to the book and onboarding call page. So how we did that was, once again, that was just going to our website here, going to our checkout page, whatever we added as our checkout page, and we just made the successful action to direct to the onboarding call. So we go to this checkout, you see down at the bottom, it says sale actions, like what happens when you actually get a sale. We want to go to, and then we want to go to the onboarding call page. That way it directs them to book an onboarding call after they sign up, and we can get these people card on file and then onboarding call booked so that we can set them up. And so now if we go into the actual like demo account, if we go to like the email that I sent. So actually, before we go to the email, you can see what I did was I created this demo account or whatever. And so you can see it automatically created this demo account. We can click on here to review the sub account. And so I'm a little confused as to why it's making me review it. I must have the settings configured to force that. So account is pending verification, email and phone number verified. So we can go ahead and just verify this account. It's going through the approval process, saying, hey, they're good to go. And from there, if we go to your SaaS Configurator in advanced settings, you see allow subaccounts to upgrade there. So we don't have suspended sub account till then. For security, we don't have put sub accounts on pause and anything like that. Let me see why that's happening. All right. So after lots of troubleshooting and figuring out why I was not getting this account created email, I figured out because when you click on Customize Now here for the first time, it's going to ask you to configure a location. So it's just been a long time since I'd done that, and I was doing it from my main Review Harvest sub account. But I've been testing all this stuff in the demo account, and so that's why I never got kind of the email, because that email template did not exist in the demo account. Whereas as long as you're doing everything, when you select what location to send this email from, just make sure you're doing it from the location with your website and the location where people are creating their SaaS plan on the website. You know what I'm saying? So if all that is consistent, you should be good, and that email should go out. And then you can see, if we go to sub accounts, you can see the sub account was automatically created. So mine was just demo with lots of O's. We can go ahead and switch to sub account, and you can see that it was automatically created, and it's automatically created with the snapshot and all the stuff already in here. So you can see automatically created with snapshot, and you can also see that my information was added as a user. So you can see now I'm added in here as a user. But you can also see, since on the kind of plan level under this basic plan that we created, we didn't have calendars turned on. You can see calendars isn't here on the side panel. So that's just not a feature that's enabled in this account. So nothing can, the user can't see that. We can't see that. We can't do anything with calendars just because it's like a feature that just doesn't even exist for this account, right? But if you see, the weird thing is, if you go to My Staff and then you go to Edit Permissions, it's going to look like they can see permissions. I changed this earlier, but when they come in here by default for the first time, it's still going to say calendars is turned on. And so just keep in mind that when you're setting stuff up on the SaaS Configurator level, if you don't select it, it is like those features do not exist at all. So even us as the agency admin going into the sub account, we still won't be able to see that. Like, I can't come in here and adjust their calendars or anything like that because calendars isn't turned on as a feature. So that's how you actually add your SaaS plans to the website. All right, so if we go back to the Google Review snapshot, making one for your clients, you can see the first step was downloading the snapshot, and then it was creating a sub account with the snapshot, and then it's customizing the sub account with your info, and I show you kind of each place you need to go do that. And then it's creating a new snapshot from the customized sub account, and now you'll use that new snapshot for all of your clients. And so if you're confused, this video is going to walk you through that pretty clearly. But once you have your own snapshot that you're ready to use and ready to rock and roll, what you want to do is you want to create a sub account from scratch just to test it, so that you haven't started reaching out to people yet probably, and we just want to make sure that you have the confidence that you know what you're doing. And so let's say you're on an onboarding call with somebody, or you're on a sales call with somebody and they want to onboard right away. All you have to do is you have to click on create sub account. What you want to do is you want to click on my snapshots, and you're going to want you choose the one that you just created for yourself. So you can select and continue the ones that you're going to use for all your clients. And then you can search up their business name. So if you can find something for them, you can search up their business name and try and add it that way. Or you can just add manually, and you can add all their information manually. And we can go through and just say, first and last, you can add the client's name. This isn't creating them as a user. That's super important. This is not creating them as a user. It's really important to know that this is not creating them as a user, okay? This is just putting the information that's on the sub account. This is just like the settings of the sub account
what the business info says. That's really all it is. So you just do. And so we can just go ahead, select the time zone, and we can just go ahead and create the sub account. So now we're creating this sub account with that. So now we've created that sub account with the new snapshot. And so we can switch to the sub account, and boom, we're there. And then we have additional videos as to how to add the user to it. That's everywhere. That's, a lot of other places in the course, but I'll just show you right now. Settings, my staff, and then you can just add them as a user. And the roles and permissions are in the training down here. You can see how to add a client as a user. You can find that right there. But that's just how you create it from scratch. And remember, once you have the card on file, you can watch the other videos on attaching the client's payment info to the sub account to turn on rebilling and stuff like that. And in the next video, we're going to go over kind of a mock onboarding. This is just so you can know that you can do it, right? You can see how simple it is to set somebody up so you can start reaching out and have some confidence. So now I just want to do a really simple mock onboarding with that test sub account you made. If you click on any of these videos, you'll see that it takes you to the exact, if you click on any of these links, it takes you to the exact kind of step-by-step for that step. So add a user, connect to Google's profile, but I'm going to go through here and just going to do it with you one more time just so you can see it. Don't stress out about the details here. We're just kind of walking through the steps so you don't have to be concerned about the fact that it's really difficult, right? I just want you to see it. So once you see it, you're okay, that's not too bad, right? So once we're in our test account here, right? What we want to do is we want to go, let me just move this out of the way. All right. What we want to do is we want to go to settings and we want to go ahead and add my staff, right? So you click on my staff. This is going to be adding the user, adding your client to the account so they can log in and they can onboard. So we click on add user. You add their first name, last name, their email, and their phone. And then you want to just add a temporary password of you can do whatever temporary password you want. You can ask them to give you a password and you can tell them to come in here and change it later, which is pretty simple. But for roles and permissions, here's the permissions that we do. We leave settings on, we turn off account tools, we turn off automation, we turn off blogs, we turn off calendars, we turn off certificates and communities. We leave on contacts, so they need to upload their contacts. We turn off conversations. We don't want them to see all the stops and stuff like that. We turn on just the dashboard. That's fine there. This one doesn't matter too much. Turn off funnels, turn off GoCollab. You want to allow them to see integrations. We want to turn off marketing, but select social planner. So we just want them to see social planner. We want to turn off, keep media on so they can upload personalized images and stuff like that. We want to turn off opportunities, memberships, and turn off payments as well. And then we want to leave reputation on. Obviously, you can turn off online listing if you're not doing the extra stuff like that. And then if you want them to be able to add users or not, you can turn that on or off and turn off WordPress. And so that's just how you add a user. Once you do that, they'll get an invite email saying, hey, you've been invited to join. Or you can just give them your white label login and they'll be able to log in from there. Then once you've added a user, now what we want to do is we want to connect the Google Business Profile. So all that's doing is going to Launchpad, is clicking on connect and prompting them to log in with their Gmail. It's super simple. There's a more in-depth video on that just kind of right here. And then uploading their previous contact list. So using GHL connector is going to be the easiest for this. So I have an example of that. Video listed as well right here. But yeah, uploading the contact list is just clicking on import contacts. It's just you click on the contacts thing there, and then you click on next. You just upload a CSV file right there and map the fields. It's super simple. And then once you have all the contacts loaded into here, the next step is to go ahead and get a photo from their Facebook for personalized images. So for the personalized image review request, if you ask them, hey, go take me a photo of your team, it might take them a week or 2 weeks to get back to you, and they're going to ghost you or whatever. And then we're not going to get them in reviews because we didn't launch their thing. So what you want to do is you want to go to their Facebook, go to their website, find a photo that works, and then take that photo and say, hey, we're going to use this for now. If you want to send us another photo for the personalized image, great. And when it comes to creating that personalized image, there's just a video right here of going to Nifty Images and how to actually create that after you grab it from their Facebook. What I'll do is let's just go to Facebook. Let's go like to Region Scoopers Facebook. You can see, I'll go find their Facebook page. You can see, oh, we could use this. I wouldn't use the logo. I'd prefer to use this. So this looks great. You can just click on it, save image as, and then you'll be able to use that as the personalized image and just downsize it and make sure it's the right size. You can also ask them or prompt them to upload their photo to media storage if they already have it. So that works good. That works too. Second thing is connect their social media accounts. So all you do to do that is you just go to marketing and you go to social planner right there. And this is going to be, once again, sorry, I didn't clarify this. You're going to get your client to log in. You're going to get them to share their screen on Zoom, and then they're going to walk through all this, right? They're going to connect their business profile. They're going to upload import their CSV file. You're going to walk them through it, but it's just easier because they have connection to all this stuff. Because if you're on your screen, you can't click on connect Facebook and then just automatically be logged into their Facebook, right? But if they're logged into their computer and they're logged on here and they're sharing their screen through your HighLevel domain or whatever, and they click on connect Facebook, then it's going to say, hey, continue as their name, and they'll be able to attach the thing. And so it's very important to note that how Facebook pages work is that business pages are attached to personal pages. So you have to continue as Clay or continue as the personal person first, and then it's going to prompt you to add the page. So you can see now you'll be able to add a particular page and you'll be good from there. And you do the same thing with Instagram and the same thing with the Google Business Profile. You have to connect the Google Business Profile here again because it's a different sort of access. It's like posting access versus the access that we're given from the Launchpad. So you have to connect it twice. And this will allow us to make like updated posts like, hey, just to update. So if we go Region Scoopers, let's see, dog waste removal. We see, scroll down, you can see they might have like update posts from the owner. Wait, hold up. Let's not do it there. Region Scoopers. Good night. Sorry, guys. All right, here we go. Yeah, so you can see like update posts like this. You can see this allows you to post like that because they're obviously active and posting on their Google Business Profile. And so that's what that sort of access gives you there. Next thing we want to do is we want to add card on file. If you don't already have it, you have a video on that right here, getting clients card info in HighLevel. Also, you can you can click on this and you can watch this video on how to charge your clients in rebilling. So very step-by-step right there. Last thing, turn on Reviews AI. So all that is that once their Google Business Profile, oh no, I lost my tab. 1 second. So once you connect their Google Business Profile, you can click on Reputation, you can click on Settings, and then you see Reviews AI right here. You can just turn on auto responses. Make sure you save it. You see the UI is a little bit buggy right here. It's making it look like you have to upgrade, but like right here, there's actually a save button. Like that's gonna save it. You see how it kind of expands like that. Really tricky. You can contact HighLevel support about why that is the way it is and how to fix it. But yeah, you can just select Google reviews, whatever you can do 4 stars and above. That's what we normally do. You can wait 9 minutes. It's really going to be longer than that because it takes forever for reviews to get into HighLevel sometimes. And yeah, there you go. You'll be able to turn on those auto responses. And then last thing is just turn on automated social media posting. So there's a video going over how to do that. Once you've connected the Google Business Profile, once you've connected their social media accounts, here, I'll show you. Once you go to marketing and you've connected their social media accounts, you just click on post reviews and it's going to automate the process of posting reviews. And I go into more depth here. This is really just to show you that, hey, this is not scary, guys. This is easy. It's like 8 steps. Setting up their onboarding, like on the onboarding call is what you'll do. Honestly, turn on Reviews AI and turn on automated social media posting. I do these after the call. So this is part of the post-call onboarding. I was just adding this here because it's a big piece of the puzzle, like afterwards. And I know people would have questions about, oh, how do you do all this? So this is post-call, but you do all these things on the call. So make sure you have a card on file, connect social media accounts. All these things need to be done on the call. And you can do this before the call if you want to. But anyways, hope this video is helpful. This is just to kind of get over the fact that, hey, you can do this. It's not going to take you a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks to learn how to do this stuff. It's pretty simple. Now the next priority is the biggest thing, the reason people fail. You got to start outreach. You got to start reaching out to people, and you got to start making people know that you exist. And once you do that, if you can do that consistently, then you'll be good as golden.